And they go out and the race gets underway then. And it's a good start there by the Carl Swift and Rob Baker car from pole position then as they're heading down towards Copse Corner for the first time. It looks like it is the Seat ahead. We still don't know who the start drivers are for this race, I'm afraid, but they're heading their way through Copse Corner for the first time and down towards Copse and Maggots for the down towards Maggots and Beckett's even for the first time.
Yeah, down there with glints of blue off its spoiler at the front is that Seat ahead of the big BMW. In third already, by the looks of things, is Joe Taylor in the Lotus Exige. He's coming really strongly, and you can see on your screens that massive cars working their way through Chapel Curve onto the fastest part of the circuit, the Hangar Straight. And yes, there is Joe Taylor in third place. And another Seat is in behind. That must be the Wallaces. Coming along really strongly is one of the E36 M3s, and that looks like that plain white car in there among the Porsches.
Hey guys, I can confirm it's Carl Swift who started the pole position car.
Okay, that's one down.
Oh, on the grass, one of the E46s got it stopped. That's the E92, in fact, isn't it? That's the Rob Salisbury car, that's got off onto the grass. And Steve Cheatham's been off as well in the background. That was the black Boxster with the yellow trim. That was briefly off onto the grass at Vale as well. He's got back on, well, not the grass, but onto the runoff area. Kind of involved in that sort of in that incident, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah. But he's not lost too much. He was fastest in Class B in qualifying, so he's done what he needs to do. And one of them off there on the left-hand side of the circuit, just trying to see
who
tattered. That is. I'm just wondering, was that the Lightstone Khan BMW? It's the 83 car. That's the Matt Maxtad and Ben Salmon car that went so well in the class last time out at Snetterton 2 weeks ago.
They're rivals, aren't they, of the championship protagonists?
Yeah, of Steve Cheatham and other Class B cars. That's a little bit easier then, possibly, for Steve Cheatham. As the battles down the order of the leaders already coming through Luffield Corner to complete the first lap of the race then. And it is Carl Swift out in front, and he's pulling away in that area. Motorsport Seat from in second place. The 33 car, Luke Sedgwickowski and David Whitmore. Joe Taylor, of course, going solo in third place. And those two teams, those two cars, second and third on track, are doing battle for the Class A championship. They're out of contention for the overall thing. There is the Graunch number 83 car of Ben Salmon and Matt Maxtad. It was a Class B winner last time out.
Both sides of the car are damaged. The right-hand side quite badly at the front. But through they go. Top three are through, chased by the Wallace brothers Seat as well. Behind them is Darren Ball, then Rory Hind, and then it's the Mark Betts and Tim Gray, number 88, ahead of Pip Hammond.
Hey guys, I can give you one or two more. David Mercer started 41, Rory Hind started number 8, Mark Betts started number 88, and Luke started the 95 car. Back to you.
Thank you very much indeed for that, Lewis. That's
Mark off.
Yeah, that's Mark Betts and Carl Swift, who started on the front row then. Mark Betts sharing that car with Tim Gray, who no doubt will be the quicker driver, so we'll see how that comes second.
That's a late model Mazda off, isn't it? MX-5 by the looks of things.
Yeah, possibly so. There is the car we're talking about. That's Luke Schlevitz in the number 95 car that he's showing with Andy Bailey. He's got the Dayburn and Trigg Ginetta, which is an invitation class car, going around the outside of it at the moment. So down towards the Vale they come, and in towards Club Corner for the first time, Lewis.
Yeah, 83's just pitted here. That's the Ben Salmon Max at BMW. It's got a lot of damage on the front right-hand side. So that's pulled straight into the pits.
And we've got the safety car boards now out, and you can see out the full course yellow sign on the live stream as well. So clearly there's a car stranded in a dangerous position. So a very early safety car.
I think may well be that. It's a silver, I think, MX-5, a modern one, which looks like it's in the firing line at one of the corners.
Okay, we'll see if we can pick that up on the stream again. There is the 44 Ginetta of Dayburn and Trigg going through, but Carl Swift comes through and he sees the safety car boards, so hopefully the safety car will be ready at the end of the pit lane, waiting to pick them up. So just 2 laps down. Carl Swift, of course, has done the best lap of the race, 2:20.67, and into the pits early comes car number 8, and this is Rory Hind, who started that car. Now you would think this is not to make their stop just yet and hand over to Owen Fitzgerald already, but that car is in. Possibly if Lewis is around, he can go and find out what's going on. Lewis?
Looks as though the wheel nuts are being torqued up on the front right-hand side, and I can tell you now that I think they were loose, and Rory came in at terrific rate of knots, I have to say. Yeah, looks as though he's got loose wheels. Let's have a look at the back ones. They're all being checked. Kevin Maxted is he's got his ear wrench out, and Rory looks as though he's in.
And there's another car that's heading down the pit lane towards you as well, Lewis. That's the Mark Jones and Robert Taylor Seat. That's just heading past you now, I think.
Okay, I'm about to go up there, so I'll get back to you.
Okay,
back to you.
Thank you. So safety car is still out. We've not had all of the cars catch the safety car train, but you can see the 750 Motor Club McGann is leading them around and down the Hanger Straight at a relatively sedate speed. So the last couple of cars, which look like the Will Ashmore Matty Taylor Civic and also one of the Clios, are the ones that need to catch up to the back of that train. So I imagine they've had some dramas somewhere.
Steve Cheetham in 43 is lying only 3rd in class behind the Pip Hammond and Jonathan Evans cars.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
9, 3168. Yeah.
Yeah, the 48 car. Let's have a quick look. 48, just been told that it's Robert who's behind the wheel, and he's been off at Luffields, and there's kitty litter being pulled out from underneath the car. So it doesn't look too badly damaged, not getting out of it because I'm about to go. So that's the 48 car.
Okay, thank you. Yes, just to continue what Marcus was saying about the situation with the championship leader. So Steve Cheetham 3rd in Class B and 12th overall. Class C, it is Lightstone and Khan, who are the challengers to Cheetham, who are 2nd in Class C at the moment. So they've had a better start, respect, in their class than Cheetham has in Class B. They've moved up to 2nd behind the number 40 car, which is the Ben Highland and Luca Hurst Ginetta G40. So they've made a good start. Another car to have come up the grid there as well is the 41, the David Mercer machine. That's the BMW M3, because that only qualified down on row 18 of the grid. So that's one that was out of position, really, after qualifying and has moved up the order. That's a Class B car. But as things stand, it's a reasonable first lap or two for Lightstone and Khan as far as the championship is concerned.
David
but
Mercer,
a long way to go.
Former Le Mans racer.
He was.
Also club racing before that, and then the international sports car man. Drove such things as a BMW M1, one of those wonderful 450 horsepower M1s at one point. And then historics with all manner of cars, Formula Ones, Group C, Splice as well. Here we go, there's the Mazda being hooked out.
Yeah, is that the TWP car? Yes, it is. That's the car, the Class C car, the car that I think qualified fastest in Class C, the John Munro and Nick Dougal car that is out of the race. And it looks to me as if that is, well, it's been dragged back onto the track, so will it be able to continue? The safety car is just coming up behind it, so they'll have certainly lost at least a couple of laps. Now, is the Mazda going to go around, or is it going to go into the pit lane? It's going to cut across into the pit lane, by the looks of it.
Ian,
Lewis.
just to update you on the 27 car, which was started by Adam Morgan.
Thank you.
They came straight in to serve their pro driver penalty. So by the looks of it, he's probably tagged on the back of the grid, and Really, that penalty probably has been nullified.
Right, I'm a bit puzzled because the safety car has just let the leaders go past it. With the yellow flag still waving, so I'm not quite sure what has gone on there. Right, so they hadn't picked... What has happened is they hadn't picked up Carl Swift and Rob Baker. They'd picked up Luke Sedgwickowski and David Whitmore, hadn't they? And so now they've got to let everyone, apart from Carl Swift and Rob Baker, go through to get this race started again, because it wouldn't really be very satisfactory, would it, Marcus, to start the race with effectively Carl Swift and Rob Baker nearly a lap ahead. That wouldn't be appropriate.
No, that's right. That's right.
Lewis.
Yes, John Munro's just in with the Mazda, and as you can see, probably on the screens, there's an awful lot of kitty litters being dragged out from the car. By the look of it, it's superficial damage. Nothing looks too bad. So that's the update on the 73 car. Back to you guys.
Yeah, that's a shame because they'd really raised their game, as Andrew Lightstone was saying, towards the second half of the season, and had qualified well here. They were the fastest off the Class C cars this morning, although there was, yes, they were indeed in their Mazda MX-5. So a great shame that that's not been converted into better result. Right, now we do have, I think this is...
That's the Renault Megane ahead of the...
yeah, it's now picked up Carl Swift, hasn't it?
The leading car,
so
that's right.
They've now got to wait for everyone else to catch up, so I imagine they'll drive at a relatively sedate pace.
So we're on lap 5 now, aren't we?
We are, yes, for the leader, and only the leader at the moment.
Yeah, that's right. Bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just that I imagine, I didn't see it, the safety car must have been deployed just too late to pick up the first car, and it did pick up the second car. So that's needed to be sorted out. So
the rest of them have got a hair around. The second and third place cars, Sedgwickowski and Taylor, are just middle of the way down the Wellington Straight now.
Okay, and that is they're down the hangover towards Stowe, aren't they, at the moment?
Yes, they're arriving at Stowe, but the problem is that the slowest cars in the field, doing their own thing, are a long way back, because they're still coming into my sight after Abbey.
Yeah, and they're probably thinking, well, they're doing the right thing by slowing down under the safety car, which is sort of right, but you are also supposed to keep in pace with the car in front as well.
Exactly. The Monroe Mazda has continued, by the way. I've just seen it go around.
Okay, so that's back out of the pit lane then.
Yeah, so that's going to have lost probably, I don't know, 2-3 laps.
Probably more than that, maybe 3 or 4. By the time we get this race going again.
It's a great looking thing, isn't it? The Seat, festooned with aerodynamic bits and bobs, plenty of downforce, and quick old bit of kit.
Yep, so the rest of the field sort of heading through, trying to catch up with the leaders. That's the 88 car being started by Mark Betts. He started his racing career in the RGB Sports 1000 Championship, but this year has been sampling another kind of motorbike engined racing, the F1000 Championship, which has been new to the 750 Motor Club bill this year. And he is being partnered today by Tim Gray, who's won the low-cost championship with 750 Motor Club, RGB Sports 1000. He's won Bike Sports, one of the very best exponents of club racing around. But we've not seen much of him this season, so it'll be good to see him back out for race 2. There's that 331 car, which is the Rob Salisbury and Mike Dowd BMW E92 M3 going through.
Oh, there's 2 eras of Seat, aren't there?
Yes.
Behind the pace car.
Yes, one of them is the one that has been in the pits, which is the
Jones car.
The Jones car, yeah.
It's the one with the orange stripe on it.
Yeah, so that's there as well. So that's sort of a lap down, effectively. Oh, now it looks like the next cars are possibly getting close to catching up. Where are they now at the moment? It looks like they're just sitting through Village, Marcus, and the loop with you. Yeah,
there are some cars, yes, here. The lead car is here, behind the pace car. They've slowed right down, and the Wellington Straight is the ideal opportunity for the pace car to do about 30 miles an hour, with a view to its observer being able to look out of the back window and say, actually, we've now got 20 behind us rather than just 2 or whatever.
And crucially, they have got the sort of other leading contenders, haven't they?
Yes, they do.
Just behind those 2 back marks that have been into the pits, though.
Yeah, there's probably 10-ish cars there, and here come the rest, led by...
Oh, and there's a spinner there as well, behind the safety car.
What?
Quite. Is that the Sheridan Dolman car, which is actually Class B? It's showing on our paperwork as Class C. It's actually a Class B car.
Where did the car spin?
I think it would look like it was around Farm, possibly.
Okay.
Anyway, safety car lights are out, which means that we are going to get back underway this time. 14 minutes or so into this race. So you thought the safety car was going slowly. Carlsworth got even slower, but it's gone now. He's accelerating away, and with those back markers behind him, this is absolutely ideal for him to really steal a march on Luke Sejikowski and David Whitmore here. Well, it looked like he might get an advantage of a lap and let the safety car let everyone through, but as the green flags wave to get the race back underway, then it is Carl Swift.
Yeah, because he's got the
leading.
Total Control Racing Jammer car effectively behind him, hasn't he? Because that car wasn't allowed to overtake him. No one else was allowed to overtake, but they couldn't overtake the lap car either.
No, exactly.
So he's got himself a really good lead out of all this.
Yeah, so that's well done by Carl Swift.
Yeah, here comes Swift. There's Swift into the corner, into Beckett's. There's Jones. And there's Sejikowski, who's got Wallace behind him, Joe Taylor in behind him, and then the black BMW with all the green contrasting stripes on it. Car that's moving up well. Is that Darren Ball?
Yeah, I think it might be. Yeah, there's 3.9 seconds between the first two cars at the beginning.
This, they just not even caught the Jones car, have they?
No, which is not a slow car.
No.
In its own right, so it won't. It takes some passing.
He used it really well.
Yeah. Then you've got the Wallaces, Matthew and Simon Wallace there in fourth position at the moment in another Seat. So there's a bit of a Seat fest going on down at Stowe Corner.
He's in the driving seat, opposed to the driving Seat.
Hey guys.
Lewis.
Yeah, we just got. I'm just doing a couple of interviews in between. Tim Gray, I've got Tim there, who's General Mark Betts. That was a bit of a start to the race, wasn't it, Tim?
Yeah, so really exciting. Rolling starts are always great, aren't they? And particularly with a grid like this.
Yeah, with the. I think we got start. Yep, got some noise back again. Unusual to see you in something like a tin top.
Yeah, well, you know, I'd never say no to driving anything. And so, you know, Mark kindly asked me if I'd drive with him this weekend, and it's a me and Mark are good friends. We've been racing, you know, together in one way or shape or form for a long time. So, for us to be able to get out and have a race together, it's for us today is just a real bit of fun and a giggle and see where we are and what happens, and then make a plan for next year.
Low cost RGB bike sports. Have you done any saloon car racing or much?
None at all. Making it up as I go along.
Yeah, I saw you in one of those Pragas as well, haven't I?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we've done quite
a roof. That had a roof.
That had a roof. Yes, yeah, maybe not tin, but but yeah, you know, Prague's been going well this year. Few ups and downs like anything, but no, you know, today focus on learning how to drive a tin top. And yeah, make it up as I go along and see how we do.
I bet you'll do really well. Great to see you back into 750. Fabulous. Hope you have a good day.
Fingers crossed. Thanks a lot.
Okay, back to you guys in the comms box.
Did you see, Ian, was it the 311 or 331, I think it may well be, outbraked itself into Vale again?
Yeah, that was the Salisbury and Dowd car, wasn't it? Again, yes. So making a habit of that. Meanwhile, there's been a black flag being shown to David Mercer, who I talked about a few moments ago, having made a very good start, but he's getting a black flag. It looks like, if I get my binoculars out, where did I put them? He's got a stop-go penalty for some reason. So yeah, David Mercer having to come in. Well, that's an infringement under the safety car, possibly. I'm speculating, but that's about all it could be at this stage of the race. And the car not having made a pit stop as yet. So the lead for Carl Swift over Luke Sejikowski and David Whitmore pretty much doubled on that first lap, running again. 6.3 seconds it now is. But look at this. This is a good scrap going on screen now.
A huge spin ahead. That's the Jones Seat's gone round at Stowe. Massive spin, but now continues.
Yeah, but the battle that was just going past there was Wallace and Taylor, and I think it was Taylor that had made up a position in the Lotus, and that could be crucial as far as the championship is concerned. There's an M3 battle. That's between the Kevin Dengate and Chris Lovett car, and also Mark Betts as well. But there you can see, Joe Taylor now is ahead of the Wallace brothers in the Seat, so he's gone up into third position and now is just one place behind Sejikowski and Whitmore, which is pretty important as far as the Class A championship is concerned, because Taylor has a slight advantage coming into this race. He can't afford to give too much away to the car in front. Lewis, have you got more news? No, possibly not yet, so Marcus, back down to you.
Yeah, leader's just gone through past me, and Carl Swift is tearing clear of the field. There's great battling. Look at that, MX-5 on the inside, the 93 car, and one of the Lotuses. And they're different speeds through the corner at different points, aren't they? I think their overall speeds through the corner are much the same, but the Mazda got back through again.
Meanwhile, I'm just looking out of my window at what's going on for Class A, and I reckon that Joe Taylor is now eating into the advantage of Luke Sodzikowski and David Whitmore. It's 1.8 seconds between them at the end of the previous lap. Let's have a look now. It's actually gone out by 2 tenths. It's about 2 seconds now. So Sodzikowski and Whitmore edging away from Joe Taylor there in third position. It's Steve Cheetham in his Boxster. I think for the moment he's still third in Class
They're close, aren't
B.
they?
No, he's second now. He's second because the Evans car, he's past the Evans car. That's dropped back. He's 1.7 seconds behind the Pip Hammond Gavin Johnson Porsche, which I suspect is being started by Pip Hammond.
Yeah, the car with that very confusing sign writing on the door.
Yeah, so there's Sodzikowski and Whitmore, then Joe Taylor, then behind you've got the Matt Wallace car with Darren Ball going down the inside in the BMW M3. That's for fourth position, and he's done that absolutely well down the straight, but then the set looks to be better on the brakes, but no, he can't make it through into Stowe Corner. So Ball there, who drives solo for the 2 hours, is up into fourth place. That looks like the BMW of David Mercer has now come in to serve its penalty as well, Lewis.
Yes, you're absolutely right. It's David behind the wheel. I did check earlier. I think I might have probably told you. Yeah, he's been a naughty boy, passing under yellow flags. It's quite easy to find, isn't it, on the timing screens these days? So he's in the headmaster's naughty boy spot. Back to you.
Yeah, so he's got to wait for a period of time, I think 30 seconds there, before he's released back out into the race. You can see the 76 car of David Downing, one of the other Porsche Boxsters in this race. And who's that? One of the BMWs coming up on the inside. That's the car that's going back in after its early pit stop, back up the field. That's the number 8 car of Hines and Fitzgerald. It's now running, well, it was 20th at the start of the lap, and I think it's now 16th because Michael Downey was 16th at the beginning of the lap. There you can see the Ginetta. That's the Dave Bell and Trick car, but just behind it now is Pip Hammond in that Porsche Boxster.
See what I mean about the number on that car?
Yeah.
It looks like it's probably sort of 85 or something like that. That massive RS on the door is absolutely ridiculous.
Well, that's for RS Connect, the championship sponsors. We're hearing great numbers this weekend.
Yeah, it's brilliant to see, but it just is out of place on the door. It looks like it should be a race number.
It does a little bit, doesn't it? The 719 on the rear quarter, as is often the case. RS Connect have brought their big truck Titan 2 this weekend, and that helps to promote STEM subjects, so science, technology, engineering, to youngsters, to students. So it's good to see that big truck here this weekend, and hopefully that's getting a lot of interest here at Silverstone. We are 8 laps into this race now. Carl Swift now 5.9 seconds clear of Luke Sodzikowski and David Whitmore, who've just done their personal best lap, a 2:23.10. We think it's probably Luke Sodzikowski out there.
That's what he said he was going to start.
Yeah, exactly. Before. So he's there at the moment, and it's now 1.9 seconds back to Joe Taylor in third. So that lap, Taylor did close in a bit because he's actually done the best lap, no, not the best lap, his best lap of the race, a 2:22.94. There he is on screen now, heading down the Hangar Straight.
Got Hammond and Cheetham now together in the two Porsches, and that is the tussle for that class lead. 719 ahead of 43. And not far behind them, Jonathan Evans in 136. So that's class 1, 2, 3 all together within about 1.3 seconds of each other.
Okay, I do have a few more start drivers now, so I'm going to run down these marks. If you keep an eye on the screens to see if anything happens while I'm looking at this, I can tell you it's Matthew Wallace that started car 55. It is Matt Maxted that started car 83, which was early into the pits. It was Johnny McGregor that started car 118. Pip Hammond, as we suspected, car 719. Tom Barlow started 136. Johnny Evans, if I can find his car, started 136. John Evans started 136. It's Matty Taylor that started 46, I beg your pardon. Steve Dolman started car 52. We said that the 73 car was started by John Munro already. We'd already passed that information on to you. Andrew Lightstead had started the 79 car. Paul Huxley had started car 16. And I will tell you some more in a moment.
Yeah, where is Lightstead running?
He is running at the moment in 24th position and second in class, more importantly.
Yeah.
He's got 2 cars at about 10 seconds between himself and the class-leading Ginetta number 40. I do have some more start drivers for you as well. So it was Darren Kell starting car 68, Ben Hyland starting car 40, Charlie Dark starting car 210. Where are we? Then we move down to Scott Ferguson starting 37, Sam McKee starting 36. Lewis has got news for us.
Yeah, the 93 car is in the pits, and not good, I don't think. It was Russell Templin who just brought it in with a gearbox issue. So that may be 93 end of the day for them. Back to you.
Yeah, so that was the next car I was going to tell you about, actually. Robert Taylor, though, started car 48. David Mercer, as we said, started 41. Steve Summers started car 66. Charlie Sharp started car 67. I think we're nearly there now. And the only other one I've got to give you is Carl Cavers started car 152.
Did you give us one for 44?
44.
If you did, I didn't notice it.
Let's have a look.
Dave Burnett and Trig.
I'm just having a look once again at my various bits of information that have been sent across to me. I'm trying to find it on the...
Steve Cheetham now leads his class, by the way. Points leader.
Okay, right. Finding the right piece of paper. No, we didn't know the start driver for that one, so I didn't give you one, is the answer, because we don't know who it is.
It was Trig at Snetterton, wasn't it?
It may well have been. Anyway, 26 minutes into this race now, and it's Carl Swift leading the lead. He's gone on back out again to 7.1 seconds, 1.9 seconds back behind Sedgwickowski is Joe Taylor in third, Darren Ball fourth, Matthew Wallace fifth, and Rob Salisbury, despite a couple of offs. That's also another one we didn't get to start. Well, no, it's Rob Salisbury or Mike Dowd starting, actually. So we'll go with Salisbury. He's there in 6th place. Class B, yeah, as you said, I think, Mark, Steve Cheetham now ahead of Pip Hammond and through into the lead of Class B. So that's looking good for the championship as far as he is concerned, because so long as he does better in Class B than Lightning Khan might come managing Class C, then Cheetham will be champion. We thought at one stage he might wrap things up at Alton Park.
Do we have success balanced in the form of penalties in the pits?
No, there are no pit stop penalties in this for sort of previous success or anything like that. So it's all a straightforward stop. They have to have at least one mandatory 3-minute stop in the course of a 2-hour race, but there's no penalties for previous success as there is in road sports. The only exception to that is, I think Lewis already mentioned that Adam Morgan, the British Touring Car Championship driver who's sharing the Civic with number 27 Will Beach. He has to serve an extra stop-and-go penalty, which he's already done during the course of this race, so it's got that out of the way.
Yeah, that's very early on. That's exactly what Marcus Clutton had to do at Snetterton, wasn't it, in the Porsche, which he shared with Michael Price, but that's not here today.
No, it's not, and if you remember, they did make a bit of Horlicks of that, didn't they? Because they had to stop twice in the end to serve their penalty.
I was going to preserve their dignity.
Yes. They did it once under the safety car, but it does have to be done under the green flags, and it can't be done in the last 15 minutes of the race either. So
Rory Hind in the number 8 car up into 13th place now, having made that stop.
And lapping 2:22.01 is the second best lap time, isn't it, after the race leading team at the moment. So after that initial problem, they're storming their way back up through the field.
That's a fairly innocuous-looking M3 as well, isn't it?
No, it looks reasonably sort of standard, doesn't it? And no garish livery, just a plain white car, more or less. But it's very effective, clearly. The leading car is just making its way back around towards me, and it is about to put a lap on one of them. But on the screens at the moment, we've got a couple of the lower class cars. You've got Ivan Mayers there. That's another driver. I'm not sure who's starting that car, whether it was Ivan Mayers or Andy Waters. The ace preparation expert, and just behind that is one of the MX-5s. And trying to figure out who that is. That's Justin Newnham's MX-5, number 125. So those two, both Class C cars, battling over 33rd and 45th position at the moment, making their way down the Hanger Straight towards Stowe Corner for the, well, in their case, the 11th time. Most of the field coming through. I think we have probably slightly in excess of 40 cars, but 40 of them fit nicely onto my two screens here.
It's difficult to pinpoint sometimes the two similarly liveried Seats, the cars that are running first and fifth.
Yes.
5 and 55.
No, they're not easy to tell apart, especially in sort of quite difficult conditions like this.
Bright sunlight, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a moment a while ago when the sun disappeared by hand and cloud, which was actually quite a relief here in the commentary box, because I could see things for the.
I managed to go and dig my sunglasses out of the car at lunch break, which was absolutely inconceivable. Could be yesterday, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
Barely got light yesterday.
Yeah, it was the ice scraper that we needed this morning. Right, into the pits comes the 95 car. That is the car that was started by Luke Schlevitz. Now, where's that running? It's running in 20th position. That's one of the Class B cars. It's dropping down the order. So it's a bit early, you would think. Only 30 minutes into the race for it to be a scheduled stop, but maybe a problem there on the Golf.
Rory Hind into the top 10 now.
Well, that's an excellent effort, and the gaps of the car into the cars ahead of him, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 1 second. So he should be able to pick almost a car off a lap at the rate he's going for the next few laps, because he is lapping quite considerably faster. 3, 4, 5 seconds faster than those cars ahead of him at the moment.
Another of the Exiges or Elises dived around the outside of a BMW into Beckett's that time, and it might have taken the driver by surprise.
37 car Scott Ferguson's into the pits. That's one of the Mazdas. As there on screen, we can see our championship leader, number 43, Steve Cheetham, who's been racing now for an awful long time. This car, though, was built in 2012, originally to race in the Porsche Club Championship. Steve was the 1997 Porsche 924, sorry, the 2005 Porsche 924 champion. Is the news from Lewis down in the pits? I thought there may be for a moment, but obviously not.
Ian, sorry.
Yes, go on.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I just got myself a bit confused there. Yeah, the 95 car has just come in, and it doesn't look very good. There's a strong smell of gear oil, so it's either a drive shaft or gearbox has let go in the Golf GTI of Andy Bailey and Luke Switch. However, back to you.
Yeah, okay, Luke Schlevitz and Andy Bailey there. That car into the garage, which has the looks of it being a terminal problem therefore, doesn't it?
Gearbox or a drive shaft, you can smell it.
Yeah. So I think Lewis has still got his mic open. Hopefully he can close that. There we go. And there we have on screen the cars as they head down into Copse Corner to start another lap. Just under 90 minutes of this race left to go.
70, picking up the number, can't see the number on my screen, it's so sunny. The Dengate car, 78 is that? Yes, got up ahead of Robert Salisbury on the previous lap, and they're being hounded down now by Hind.
Yeah, absolutely. Hind really flying, isn't he? Having started that car. Well, started that car and then had an early pit stop during that safety car. I suppose the safety car did help him out a little bit from that point of view. As we watch the battle for second and third, because again I think Joe Taylor is catching the Luke Sejikowski BMW. There's 2.5 seconds between them at the beginning of this lap, and it looks to be less than that now. And there's Darren Ball as well, and Darren Ball only a second and 3/4 behind Joe Taylor as well, and lapping faster than him at the moment too. So there we are, second, third and fourth on the road, all in a line as they head down the Wellington Straight into Brooklands for the 13th time in this race.
You wonder whether the over the course of the race, the Exige being lighter and perhaps better balanced than the BMW might use its tyres less
Possibly so.
Therefore be a more stable platform over the course of 2 hours.
Could well be, Lewis.
Yeah, the 37 cars now being pushed into the garage. You can probably see on the TV screens. Scott Ferguson was the driver, and the supercharger belt has broken.
Okay, so that's what's happened to Scott Ferguson. Great shame for him and his co-driver, Stephen Andrew, to be out of the race, unless they can do anything about that, but probably not for the remaining part of this race. So there's second, third and fourth. Once again, then heading through Chapel Curve there and onto the Hanger Straight down towards Stowe Corner. Well, there will be at any moment now.
Ooh, that was wide out of Chapel for Joe Taylor. He's trying to carry every ounce of speed he can to try to match Luke Sedzikowski, the TEGIWA BMW.
He did his personal best lap on the last lap, did Taylor, 2:22.42. Which was more than a second faster than the Sedzikowski car on that lap, so he's eating into the advantage. And now traffic just starts to come into play because they have got back markers ahead, as you can see there, up at Club Corner. And so this traffic will start to certainly have an impact on this race. Joe Taylor, of course, in that number 77 car, already been a winner at Silverstone this year on the international circuit, though, so that's the part of the circuit he's racing on now. He owns a Fat Joe marketing agency, and last season he won 6 races in the 2018 Lotus Cup. That was his first season of racing, so still only in his second year, and he's going pretty well.
Fat Joe marketing agency, that trips off the tongue, doesn't it? But, obviously does what he does very well, because he can go racing and gives a very good account of himself. Of course, it's just him and a couple of buddies prepare the car, and this time he's closer to Sedzikowski as Darren Ball got mired in traffic.
Yeah, including, I think, the Ivor Mayer's BMW, wasn't it? Yeah, which he's just gone past now. So Ball is a bit further back. That gives Taylor some respite as they make their way through Luffield once again. This is lap 14 now of the race. A couple more cars into the pits. One of them is that 88, possibly? No, I don't think it can have been 8. Try and work out what number that was. But also we saw one of the BMWs go in as well. I'm sure Lewis can find out what's gone on there in a moment. Certainly Taylor now has got the gap down to 3/4 of a second, Sedzikowski, and into the pits.
It's 89 who just came in with the I think it was a Mazda, isn't it?
It was,
and
yeah.
we're waiting, we're looking at the, I can't see the number on the door, the Just Doors UK car. Oh yeah, number 11 is on the windows.
You can't see the number on the door.
So 118. I'll get there in a minute. It's on the window. And 118 was started by Johnny McGregor. It's Josh Tomlinson who's hopefully going to jump in. Let's have a quick look on the side. Yes, that looks like that's the case. Anyway, back to you.
Okay, so yes, it's indeed the Mazda that's gone in, the RX-8. I think that's the first time we've seen that car out this season. It runs an RX-7 turbo engine, that car, I believe.
What, a twin rotor one?
Yeah, I believe so.
A 13B.
Over the line goes the 16 car, which is the Huxley and Gardner car, but we're watching Taylor on screen, so it was 3/4 of a second the gap to Sedzikowski a moment ago. Let's try and have a look at it now. Well, it's not much more than that, is it, as they head into Abbey Curve once again. Still, yeah, only about 3/4 of a second, I would say, as they head through the left-hander at Farm and down to the right-hand hairpin at Village, and they'll be into your sight now, should I think,
this is the area where the Lotus, with its twin spotlights peering out of the radiator grille, is in its element, because it's really nimble, and he sweeps out to the outside in an attempt to cut back under the BMW, coming back out through Aintree. He hasn't got the grunt quite to do that.
Hey guys, just to update you on the Mazda, its gearbox is overheating, so they're just going to let it cool a little bit in the pit lane before they go and do another so many laps, and probably that's going to be in the order of the day. Do so many laps, come in, and then let it cool, and then
Gearbox was often the weak link on the RX-8 Mazdas. We did the 24 hours here in a fleet of them one year, first, second in class, which was good, but very easy to damage the gearbox.
Right, Sedgwickowski and Taylor, there they are. They've just gone past my commentary box as well. They're bearing down on one of the little MX-5s as well, down into Copse Corner. The gap was almost exactly the same as it was on the previous lap. They did identical lap times, in fact. Both of them their personal best as well, 2:22.07. So these two really spurring one another along. So there is one Elise, but then in the background there's the Exige there, the Elise I should say, of Joe Taylor, and he's right with the BMW now as they head down the Hanger Straight, or they will hang down the Hanger Straight in just a moment. Negotiating the other way through the final left-hand chapel.
A better run through there that time from Joe Taylor, and it comes out consequently a little closer to the BM. The BM's lapping another M3 that's ahead of it. You can see it's got a little bit more grunt in a straight line. It breaks the toe of the Lotus Exige.
Yeah, that in fact is the Sam McKee 328i that they've just gone past, which still has its road plates on. It's still a road legal car, that one as well.
Oh, it's going to be tight through there because the other Lotus is there too.
Lewis has got news though.
Yeah, I got 189. I got Dean Cook it out. Dean, let's have a quick chat. What's happened to the TVR?
Well, the clutch has gone. I think it's on its way out, so I brought it in to give Andy a go, really.
Oh, so yeah, just got to do a driver change. So yeah, it looks as though he's saying the clutch is gone. They're just having a little mess around with the car. So maybe Andy Race may get a few laps in like when the clutch is cooled down. Back to you.
Thanks, Lewis. That's the TVR that's started towards the back. First time I've seen that car out this season as well. This trip onto the Grand Prix circuit has tended out one or two different cars here this weekend.
Yeah, it's quite an opportunity, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not that common an opportunity to race on the Grand Prix circuit. Originally, this meeting should have run on the national circuit in June. A two-day meeting with a few more Formula represented as well, but it's been condensed down to this one-day finale here. And we've still got this great fight going on, and it's not only for second and third in the race, it's also very significant for the Class A Championship as well, because it's the two drivers, or the two teams, that are vying for the Class A Championship. It's slight advantage to Joe Taylor in the Championship, but it would be really seal things for him if he could get ahead of Sedgwickowski and Whitmore, who completes another lap there.
Are they a very balanced partnership, Sedgwickowski and Whitmore?
I'd say they're one of the more even driver pairings out there.
Looks that way.
Yeah, has been all season. 44 car, the Jeanette there, looks to be smoking a bit. The Dayburn and Trigg Jeanette, the invitation class car, in that it doesn't quite fit the eligibility rules for the Club Enduro Championship, but nevertheless it's been out for much of the season, and it's been a good match, but it's looking a bit poorly.
Is it just bodywork leaning on the tyre, do you think?
I'm not quite sure. The smoke now doesn't look like it. I'm not so sure. We'll see. Anyway, I suspect that will be into the pits before much longer. That's the Dayburn and Trigg Janetta. We're on lap 17 now of this race. Best lap still set on the first flying lap was a 2:20.67 for Carl Swift. Steve Cheetham has just gone past my window. Let's just check how he's doing. He's still leading Class B. He's reasonable distance clear now of Pip Hammond, 4 seconds clear of him in Class B. And just checking on Class C, well, it's still Highlands and Hurst that lead in their Janetta from Lightston Car in second. So as things stand, the championship heading the way of Greater Manchester and Steve Cheetham in particular.
Isn't that where the Cheetham's music school is in Manchester?
I have no idea.
I think it is.
Right.
Very famous music school.
Well, the Janetta continues on.
Yeah, it does. They've got on each side of another BMW down the Hanger Straight, those two.
Yeah, and he's just behind the Hind and Fitzgerald car, which is sort of levelled off now in about 8th position, hasn't it? I think.
Yeah, it's not quite catching that 331 car at Salisbury. There's 311 in your programmes.
Yeah, but getting there. The 100 car comes past me. That's the David Alexander Lotus running in 18th position. And we've got the 67 Sharp and Sharp car out there as well, just going past me. Andrew Sharp and Charlie Sharp in their Porsche 968. It's the Janetta that we see on screen at the moment, still merrily smoking away in whatever way, shape or form.
Yeah, it's getting worse.
It is, isn't it?
And it's more consistent now, the smoke.
Yeah, it certainly is. Meanwhile, the second and third place battle comes past me, and that time through the gap has come down by 600ths.
The Janetta is for the pits, I would think.
Okay, well, let's hope he's not putting anything slippery down on the circuit.
Well, I think it's quite likely that he is, but because it's, I couldn't see the back of the car for smoke that time. He's keeping up with Rory Hines. As I say, dropped back from that little battle between Dengate and the Salisbury car, which are running absolutely together.
Okay. Yes, indeed they are. They've just gone past my commentary box window now, and Salisbury is going to have a look on the inside into Copse Corner, but he can't make it through.
I think it's very likely that the driver of the TVR can smell the oil smoke.
The Ginetta, but
the Ginetta, sorry.
Yes,
they had a TVR, didn't they?
They did.
Dave Vernon Tree.
They did, which they've run in
parked up
all the categories. So there's that battle we were just talking about. That's just gone through shot. Then you've got the 8th place car of Hind. He goes through, and there is that Ginetta, which last time through it still did a 2:27 lap time. Well, that's a couple of seconds off its best. So it's still setting a reasonable pace. Relatively quiet over at my end of the circuit at the moment. As we watch that Ginetta head down the international pit straight, down the hangar straight I should say. Steve Cheatham's now leading Class B now up to 5.2 seconds over Pip Hammond. And then the next Class B car's another 12 seconds behind, the Johnny Evans Porsche.
And then the other class with Lightstead?
Yeah, no change there really. So 21st is still the car that was started by Ben Highland, number 40. And then 25th is car 79, Lightstead and Khan, and if I add the cumulative gaps up, it's about 28 seconds or so between them. So as things stand, it's very much advantage Steve Cheatham. As we work through the 90th lap now, the leaders have gone on to Carl Swift and Rob Baker, doing every bit they can to try and snatch the championship at the end. They've won the previous 2 rounds at Alton Park and Snetton, having switched this Seat for the Alton Park meeting. The Honda with which they started the year bizarrely wasn't proving too reliable, unfortunately, and so not really doing the job for them. And they've been in this car all season. I think it would be strong bets, not only for the Class A Championship, but also possibly the overall championship as well, because this Seat really is doing the trick for them this weekend and for the last few meetings in this category.
Yeah, Cheatham has really shaken Hammond off, hasn't he? Yeah,
you can see Cheatham there just in the back of shot. You can see the Ginetta, and then it's Cheatham, the next car through, actually. And he's then got about 5 or 6 seconds back to Pip Hammond next door. Both of them in Porsche Boxsters, of course. And yeah, there is the Ginetta's going into the pits there now. So the Ginetta's into the pit lane. So we'll see if we can find out what's going on to that. But Steve Cheatham goes on to start another lap. There in the pit lane we can see the Ginetta heading down pit lane after smoking around for the last 3 or so laps of this race. But it looks to be possibly out of it now, unless there's something that they can do to get that car back out. We'll possibly hear what's going on with Lewis in a moment. More than 46, now 47 minutes of the way, so getting up towards the halfway mark in this race. We had that one early safety car period, but nothing since then, thankfully. You know, the 6-hour relay race yesterday was blighted by, I think, 8 safety cars we had altogether, and 2.5 hours of eventually 5 hours 40 minutes were run behind the safety car. Such was the appalling conditions we had yesterday. So there's the Ginetta in the pit lane. Some attention at the back of the car, I can see. And another car into the pits as well is the very race leading car is into the pits as well now. That is number 6. So Carl Swift, 47 minutes into this race, it's into pit stops. Now, I think this is a car that can probably go for a full distance without necessarily needing to refuel, but this, I would imagine, is going to be their mandatory 3-minute stop. We'll see if we can pick up what's going on in that in a moment. It's a little bit earlier than I expected to see the car in, to be honest with you, Marcus.
Well, what we run, we've got an hour and 11 minutes to go. Yes, 11 and 12 to go.
Hey guys, I'm down here with the 44 driver, Stuart. Stuart, David, yeah. My arms aren't long enough for my eyesight. Stuart, what's the problem with the Ginetta?
There's something wrong with the near side rear. It's smoking away. I thought it was just the tyre, but looking at things now, it could be a bit more serious than that. But we're going to have a look at it, see whether we can get it back together again.
All right, Stuart, and best of luck, and you know, fingers crossed for you. And let's have a look. Who's your teammate?
Dave Trigg.
Yeah, Dave Trigg. Hope go well. Okay,
cheers.
Thank you very much. And we'll make our way back down the other end of the pit lane because I think it's one of the TCR cars. Back to you.
Yeah, it's the race leading car, Lewis. It's Carl Swift who's come in. So it'll be Rob Baker who will take the car over for the second part of the race. Also in now is 88, so that's Mark Betts. So he's going to hand over to Tim Gray. So he's going to be from 10th position. Be interesting to see how far Tim Gray can get that car up the order in the second half of the race, Marcus.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, so Mark Betts in to hand over to Tim Gray. He's not got that much experience of this kind of racing, but he's quick whatever he gets in, as we heard from him earlier on.
Mighty quick.
There is that driver change going on now.
So it's a 3 minute mandated stop, which will drop the a lap and a half-ish round here, won't it?
Lewis is down there, I think.
Yes, just to fill you in, the same thing as you can see on the probably on the camera is that the BMW Mark Betts Tim Gray BMW, the 88 car being refueled, and nearly there at the moment. It's not obviously hugely important to have the quickest refueling kit, because with 3 minutes you do have time to easily refuel it and change your driver. I think they've I think the Swift Baker car's had a wheel change as well, hasn't it? I'm looking at Dave nodding his head, but he's not doing much. So I think they've had a wheel change. Anyway, to you guys.
Okay, continue to watch the refueling going on the Tim Gray Motorsport BMW M3, which he's about to get into. Once the refueling has been completed, the drivers can't be in the car while the refueling is taking place, for safety reasons, of course. So we've had just under now 50 minutes now of this race have gone by, so we are getting towards that point where there will be a number of pit stops, and this is probably where a number of teams will be sort of getting an itchy feeling. Is there going to be a safety car that comes out maybe, which might be an opportune moment to make a pit stop if there is one?
BMW. No, it's the black Mazda that's crawling back. The RX-8 going very slowly. Driver now taking it to the left-hand side of the Wellington Straight to try and stay off the racing line. That's probably that gearbox issue has probably reared its head again.
Yeah. Let's see if we can go back down to Lewis.
Yeah, guys, I've got Carl Swift there. Carl, you know, you started off like a scolded cat.
Yeah, I just want to try and make as much gap up as I could, and then when the safety car came out and they missed picking me up, I thought we were on for a win there, but they managed to let everyone through and then hold me up at 20 mile an hour for a lap, so I paid for their mistake.
Well, never mind, but anyway, it's fair, isn't it? Yeah. Car going well?
Car's going well, but we just got a puncture. That wasn't a planned stop.
Ah, that was a puncture, was it?
Yeah.
Which corner?
Right rear puncture, which I found out through quite a fast corner. So we've got that on. We've pit stopped outside of a safety car, which isn't ideal, especially if everyone else gets one. But other than that, we've lost nothing if they don't get a safety car stop.
Okay, best of luck to you and the boys.
Thank you.
There we go. So that's the update. They got a punch up. So that's why they came in early. But over to you, boys.
Okay, I did think it was a little bit earlier than I was expecting Carl Swift to be, and I thought he might do just a little bit more than half of the race, rather than about 10 minutes shy of half of the race.
Look at that number 8 car, Rory Hind, back up into 6th place. He's got ahead of Dengate, but and he's close to Salisbury.
2:21.81 now they've done as well, so that's a very quick lap. Second fastest lap of anyone out there, Lewis?
Yeah, well, I got Mark Betts there. Mark, good session in the BMW?
I quite enjoyed that. It's the first time we've raced it in 2 years, and the first time we tested it this Monday, and baptism of fire, really.
Well, it's a good series to come into, and you've got a good co-driver.
He's pretty good, I think, from last time I checked. I think he should enjoy himself, though, now. He'll make some places up, hopefully. That's enjoyable.
Well, that's a good thing.
The starts are brilliant.
Well, as well.
The start is just fantastic.
So you're enjoying yourself?
I did, for once, which is unusual.
Well, that's what you do it for. Anyway, congratulations. Hope all goes well, and take your hand.
Thank you.
So, Mark really enjoyed this session, and back to you guys while I go and have a look at the Mazda up here.
Okay, I suspect the Mazda's not in best of shape, unfortunately. So the Swift and Baker car is back out there then, now with Rob Baker at the wheel, and they are 23rd, having made their stop, a lap and change down from the new leaders then, Luke Szyszkowski and David Whitmore. Luke Szyszkowski out in the car at the moment, and he's now extended his lead in recent laps to 2.37 seconds over Joe Taylor, number 77. Third is number 25, Darren Ball. Fourth is number 55, Matthew Wallace in the Seat. Fifth is 331 car of Rob Salisbury. Sixth is the 8 car of Rory Hind at the moment. Then seventh is 78 Kevin Dengate. Then our Class B leader and the man who looks to be on course for the championship, number 43, Steve Cheetham. He's 8th overall. 9th is 719 Pip Hammond. 10th is 82, and that is Aid Wotton in the Seat. And then as far as Class C is concerned, well, Ben Highland in the Ginetta G40. Number 40 is now moved up into 19th position overall and leading Class C. Second in Class C is Andrew Lightstead and Imran Khan. Andrew Lightstead out there at the moment, and he is the driver that could take the championship away from Steve Cheetham, but right now it's advantage Cheetham.
Just on the way back past me on a flatbed is the 72 Lotus Elise S2 of Andrew Winchester that is heading back to the paddock.
Well, that's a shame, because the Scottish driver who we've seen out in a BMW previously, I think a former Scottish XR2 champion as well. It's a great shame that he's had a long journey down to Silverstone and is out of the race with less than an hour gone. So we've got the 25 car of Darren Ball in third place going past me.
Oh, we've got something coming out of the back of one of the Seats here. The one that's just down towards Brooklands Corner, and whether it was just overfilled with fuel or whatever, I don't know what, but there was a fair amount of liquid coming out of the right rear corner.
Luke Handley, number 51, and 136, Jonathan Evans, both of them are being notified of penalties of some description. I can see on the screen that flashed up there. We know not what the details of those penalties are. Lewis, are you down in the pit lane?
Yeah, I got Darren Kell standing right here. And Darren, good session?
Yeah, it was good. First time on this track for me, and first time in the dry. So unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to test the car prior to the event, so we didn't really have an optimal setup. But yeah, it's okay out there. It's okay. Yeah,
the lad's gone out. James, he's going to pedal the MX-5 around.
Yeah, James is a fair bit quicker than me, so I would suspect his lap times will be a bit faster. But let's see. He enjoys this car, so he's quick on this track. So yeah, he should do okay.
Good luck. You know that I can see it's a family affair, so that's good. That's good news, and I take it you all enjoy it.
Yeah, we all have a great time. We really love the Enduro events. It's a nice, relaxed, sociable atmosphere, and we all have a great time when we do it.
Right, yeah, thanks very much, and best of luck for the finish.
Cheers. Thanks very much.
Back to you guys. Yeah, and you're right. The 118 Mazda's back in. I was talking to, I've forgotten, it's James. Is that his?
Darren Kell.
No, the driver 118. Yeah, Johnny. I was talking to Johnny. He was saying it's that the temperature's at 130 on the gearbox, which is a little bit high. I don't want to ruin it. Anyway, back to you in the comms box.
Yeah, Ian, have you looked at that Seat? One of the identically liveried Area Motorsport Seats was spilling liquid from the right rear corner.
Okay,
last time through.
Not picked that one up.
It's such bright sunlight, I can't actually see the numbers on the side of the car.
Well, I'll try and pick that up. It's Darren Kell and James Kell that we heard from there, though, with Lewis, the 68 car, 6th.
Yes, here we go. Here's the leaky one going through. It looks like the car that was leading the race. You'll see the first of them will be through in about the next 10 seconds, and probably 7 or 8 seconds behind that you'll see what appears to be the really quick Swift and Baker car.
Okay, yeah, so I'm just watching now for them to come past me. So we've got again a few Seats coming through, and I'm looking out for, so the 55 car goes past me, which is the Wallace car, and then here comes the 6 car. Well, from here, I'm a fair distance away. I couldn't see any sign of any fluid going down. Let's have a look at the lap time. It's just on its best lap of the race, the best lap of the race as well on that lap, a 2:20.49, Marcus. So it's going pretty well. It's going pretty well. Back up into 21st position now. More activity out there in the pit lane. They're still trying to get that Mazda sorted, I think, down there in the pits at the moment.
Maybe it's just on fairly quick right-handers that it's doing it.
Possibly.
But it certainly is doing it.
Yeah.
Hey guys, it's Andy Waters who's just jumped in for Ivan Mayers in 316.
Okay, thank you very much. That's another stop that has been made then, as we now pretty much are at the 1 hour mark, just a minute shy of it here at Silverstone in the TEGIWA Club Enduro Championship race, final round, the 8th and final round of the season.
Matt Wallace has been shaken down a bit, hasn't he? Because Hind is now in 4th, Salisbury 5th in 8 and 331 respectively. Matt Wallace is in 55, he's in 6th place, not far ahead on the track of the sister car.
Interestingly, all of the top 4 now lapping in the 2:22s as well, so the pace is coming down. Actually, they're getting quicker and quicker, possibly as fuel loads come down, I suppose.
What was the practice best?
Practice best was a 2:24.61, probably in slightly greasy conditions still at that point. Track's a bit in a bit better nick now. I can't even see much evidence of dampness even offline now at my part of the circuit, which it could do for the pre-lunch races. So, coming up to the hour mark here at Silverstone, let's give you a quick rundown on the order as the 27 Clio comes in. That's Adam Morgan in to hand over to Will Beach. But it's number 33, Luke Sajikowski, leading from number 77, Joe Taylor in 2nd place. There were 3 seconds between them. In 3rd place, number 25, Darren Ball. In 4th place is number 8, Rory Hind. 5th is 331, Rob Salisbury. 6th is 55, Matthew Wallace. 7th is 78, Kevin Dengate. 8th is 43, Steve Cheetham. 9th is 719, Pip Hammond. And 10th is 82, Aid Wotton. Now, there is a Porsche, sorry, not a Porsche, a Lotus that has just headed down the pit lane. And I don't think that was Joe Taylor. I think it must have been the other one. Just running you through Class B. Class B being led by Steve Cheetham from Pip Hammond, and 3rd, Johnny Evans at the moment. And Class C is still Ben Highland from Andrew Lightstead and Sam McKee. That's the way of things at the moment.
The last time through, better news from the 8 car, because there was nothing coming out of the rear corner. I just do wonder whether something had leaked down in that corner that would leak.
Not sure.
Can't quite visualise.
No.
But it was quite impressive when it was happening.
Well, whatever it is, it
seems to have solved itself. So.
It does, and the car's going around at a decent lick, so hopefully all good as far as that's concerned. So as we've now hit just gone past the 1 hour mark, I would think that those cars that haven't stopped yet probably will be doing so. Certainly none of the first 3 have. We've obviously had an unscheduled and non-mandatory stop for Rory Hind, who will need to stop again. Likewise, I think we've now had Kevin Dengate. I think Kevin Dengate's in the pits at the moment, in actual fact, to hand over to Chris Lovett.
Yeah, that's correct. They're up the top end of here, and also the Lotus, the 100 Lotus in here, and the 210 BMW, as well as the Beach Morgan 27 car.
Yeah, thought it would get pretty busy down there.
Yeah, 136 is also here, and just coming in is 152. And need eyes in the back of the head right here, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's going to get busy, I should think. I can see that the Tim Gray BMW M3, as it now is, that's down into the 222s fairly quickly after he's got into the car. He's done a 222.3 and then a 222.4 straight off the rear.
So that's right down on the pace, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, but running in 27th position at the moment, having made it stop. But I wouldn't be surprised if that was contending for a top 6 or something by the end. Another car coming in is the Rory Hind car, so he's now in.
Darren Ball's also in, Ian, as well, in the 25 car.
And so too is 46, which is Will Ashmore in the Honda Civic, to hand over to Matty Taylor. That's the Army Motorsport run car. And also in, and you'll get bored of me saying this, is the Class C leading Ginetta, the Want to Race Ginetta of Ben Hyland and Luca Hurst, number 40. Luca Hurst will be taking over that car for the second part of the race. So you can see how busy it is getting down in the pit lane now on screen, with the Lotus in there, number 100. That's the car of David Alexander. Lewis down there.
Ah, yeah, I've got a touring car racer with me, Adam Morgan. He just jumped out of the 27 car. Good session?
Yeah, it was good. It was obviously we've got to come in and do a stop-go 30-second penalty. So we thought the best thing strategy-wise was to get it done as quickly as possible. And for us, we were praying for a safety car, and that happened straight away. So
yeah, that kind of nullified that a bit, didn't it?
That helps a bit, because obviously then we can catch back up and get back on the pack. So it was felt like a good stint. You know, managed to move up through the order. Will's just jumped in now, so head down and push forward.
Yeah, so how did the season and touring cars go?
It was one of those years probably one of our worst years. We had struggled in the beginning of the season with our engineers, trying to overdevelop the car, I think, and try some things we weren't really used to. And halfway through the season we swapped engineers, and then the next race we had 3 podiums. So we've still got the pace, the car's still quick. Loads of changes for next year to the car, a bit more development work, and hopefully be nearer the front in the touring cars next year.
Well, we look forward to it, Adam, and it's great to see you here at Club Level Motorsport.
Thank you very much. It's been a great day. You know, I've really enjoyed these events, and you know, 750 Motor Club, it's been great. So hopefully back again next year. Okay,
great to see you. Thanks very much talking to us, and yeah, still an awful lot of action going on here in the pit lane, where the Lotus, the 100 loop. Yeah, no, 152 is a bit of driver changing, and the 25 car. I'm not sure if Darren is. Has Darren got
Darren's going solo.
He's going solo, yeah.
Yeah.
That looks like they're doing some work on the front left. Oh yeah, they've got the tyres off. Let me go round here, not to get in way of the I think. Not sure what's going on.
Yeah, it looks like it's not quite as planned, is it, down there?
No, I'll get back to you on that one.
Okay, give us a shout when you've got some more information, Lewis, as we watch what's going on the screen. And it's the RS Components car once again going through Pip Hammond, and then no cars at all on track. Darren and James Kell have got a warning now. That's come just after their pit stop, so I wonder if it's a pit stop infringement. There's various infringement for speeding in the pit lane, or for not stopping for long enough, or not refueling in a safe manner, that kind of thing. So there's various penalties that can be picked up in the course of making the mandated pit stops here. And while Steve Cheatham's going past my window, continues to lead Class B, still looking good for the championship. There is the 77 car of Joe Taylor, who has narrowed the gap a little bit now to Luke Sedzikowski in the lead of this race. Lewis?
Yeah, Darren looks as though it was a front brake issue, but he's had also, I think, had an issue with his belts as well. So, and he can't seem as though he can get the car running. There he goes. So that's a long pit stop for Darren. Anyway, back to you guys.
Okay, so a brake issue for Darren Ball, who was going pretty strongly up there in the top 4 before he made that stop.
Cheatham and Hammond now, what, 18 seconds behind, something like that?
Yeah, 18 seconds between them, yes, at the moment.
And they're in 5th and 6th overall, but yet to stop, of course.
Heading down the pit lane is number 36, Sam McKee, in his BMW 3 Series. That's to hand over to Cheshire driver Adam Meeland for the second part of the race. Sam, still a relative newcomer, I think only now in his 3rd year of racing. Lewis, more news in the pits.
Yeah, the car number 40, which is a GT4, Ginetta GT40, Ginetta G40, and I've forgotten who come out now.
Ben Hyland. Ben Hyland.
Sorry, Ben.
Right.
You just told me, but you know, I'm a goldfish actually.
It's been a long weekend.
Yeah, we did the 6 hours yesterday. And Luke about to get in?
Luke is about to get in. Yeah, we're just struggling a little bit to get our fuel in. We're well over our 3 minutes. So yeah, we've come in first place in class, which really pleased with. But Luke has got a bit of work to do, which I'm no pressure, but I'm sure he'll be the man for the job.
Any modifications to the car?
No, this is the problem. We're running a totally stock GT5 car, fresh from the Ginetta GT5 Championship. So usually in that class we don't do refueling. So yeah, we're just working with what we've got. The car's quick, but yeah, it is what it is, and Luke will do a good job, I'm sure. So.
Well, I know he's got a mechanic to belt him in, so you got away with that job, haven't you?
I nearly jumped in there, yeah.
Okay, boys, and yeah, have a good one.
Thank you.
Okay, Ian, back to you.
Yeah, if that was a slower stop, I guess that could be good news for Andrew Lightstead and Imran Khan, who've yet to make their stop, who were second in that class but really need to win it. And if they win their class, Steve Cheetham has to win Class B, which he is doing at the moment. So that could potentially get a bit interesting, depending on how the pit stops play out within Class C.
We've got Ball and I think that was Tim Gray right on his tail going through onto the Hangar Straight. Here they are, with the Joe Taylor, Sedzukovsky right behind them, and Joe Taylor in behind them. And this is actually not helping Luke Sedzukovsky, but he must be due to pit stop fairly shortly.
You would think so, yeah. You just wonder if people are hanging on just in case there is a safety car. They don't want to pit, and then there is a safety car just after they've made their stop.
Look at that, Tim Gray's putting himself up the inside of Darren Ball going through Woodcote.
Yeah, and they are on the same lap that is for position. It's for 17th position, and Tim Gray, I think, has gone through at Copse there. So Tim Gray up another place. I told you, but he's looking good for the top 6, I reckon, before this race is out, if not a bit more than that. So there is Sedzukovsky and Taylor, and the gap between those is down to 1.3 seconds now as they head towards you. The thing is, they've got cars ahead of them. They're trying to lap that are, well, they are barely, if at all, quicker than Marcus.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? There's some very good potential for speed down the field, but it's doing it all the time. And here comes Darren Ball popping out of Tim Gray's slipstream down towards Stowe, and still behind them is Luke Sedzukovsky, race leader in number 30.
You kind of think it's not really, it's not really worth Sedzukovsky trying to get involved in this, because he could easily come a cropper as Ball locks up a bit there, and could cause a problem. But Lewis is down in the pit lane.
Yeah, thanks very much there. Yeah, I'm looking at the 79 car, which we know is Andrew Lightfoot and Imran Khan. They look as though they've just actually refueled it. Imran getting in behind there, ducking down behind the into the seat. So, like I say, Andrew's running around there to belt him in from the inside. So looks as though I'll get a chat with Andrew shortly.
Okay, well, for the moment, Lewis, I'll pick up because we've got a challenge going on for the lead of the race here. Joe Taylor was looking down the inside of the BMW there, Marcus.
Yeah, that was very, very close, wasn't it? And Joe Taylor had to kind of get out of the way pretty quickly because the the hole he was diving into very, very rapidly closed. And it was all fine. It was Luke Sedzukovsky's corner, but it was lightning reactions from Joe Taylor.
It's lost him a bit of time as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has.
So he's a few yards behind now. But probably we're going to have pit stops before much longer. I'm going to watch them through this time, see if either of them or both of them possibly dive into the pits. No, they're both taking a wide line. Oh no, a very late decision there by the.
There goes Joe Taylor goes in.
Through. Yeah, very late decision by Joe Taylor to get into the pit lane. So he's gone a little bit earlier than his rival, and possibly trying to steal a march there. Whether it was a late call on the radio or just a very late decision by Joe to dive in that time.
I think he probably saw that there were the BMWs ahead of Sedzukovsky and that he was going to struggle to get through them with very similar lap times, and thought, you know, there's no point with going around another lap and getting stuck in that maze, because I might as well do my own thing, come out and hopefully get a cleaner track.
There he is in the pit lane, Joe Taylor. Of course, he's driving solo, full 2 hours of this race on his own. There's 48 minutes of the race left to go. Lewis is down there, I think.
Yeah, I got Andrew Lightstead here, so he's just getting his safety kit off. Andrew, a good session, but I did notice some mud on the front bib of the BMW.
Yes, I did go across the grass once coming out of Beckett's, but you know, these things happen, don't they? So I was trying to keep up with the Ginetta. He's got a little bit more pace on us, I think, today. Certainly the first driver. Hopefully the second driver may be a little bit slower, but I found a nice rhythm at the end. I think I was pretty consistent in the 133s, so hopefully that's enough to keep us in second place, if nothing else.
Was that the white and orange Ginetta?
Yes.
Yeah, they had a long pit stop because they can't refuel it very quickly. Well, that's good news, isn't it?
It is good news, yeah. That's what we like to hear. I have seen them, they were really fast at Croft, set us fastest lap a second faster than what we can manage.
I was just talking to them, yeah, they're having trouble refueling it.
So that's good to hear, without sounding too cruel. Yeah, the next one is how's Steve getting on? So
well, he's in the pits now. Okay, anyway, I'll come back and see you later.
All right, brilliant. Cheers, thank you.
Okay, there we go. That's the news from Andrew and the championship battle. We'll have a look at how Steve's doing up here in a moment. Back to you, boys.
Well, as the pit stops have unwound, so Rob Baker...
Cheatham's in this time, isn't
he? He is, yes. Yes, so he's gone in, but so Rob Baker heads back up the order, having made his stop early on unscheduled because of that puncture that they had earlier on. There on screen now you can see Luke Sergikowski, who's cleared the ball BMW and stays out for another lap. So Luke Sergikowski going quite deep into this race, it would seem.
Yes, has Tim Gray escaped from that pairing?
Looks like he must have done. Yes, he's 4 seconds clear of ball now. So that's a bit of a change around there. You can see another car just about to head into the pit lane now. I think most cars have now made their stops. The car that is coming in is the Civic, and that's unscheduled because that's the second time that's been in. That's the Matty Taylor and Will Ashmore car. So we've got two Seats together, one of which, the second of those cars, is the race leader, and that is Rob Baker now, who's taken that car over from Carl Swift. We've seen Rob race the Civic Championship a year or two ago, and he goes through there to complete another lap, back up into 7th place now. And that is for position if he gets past that Seat, but that Seat ahead of it hasn't made its mandatory stop yet, so it's a little bit false. The cars that ahead of it that haven't stopped yet are the race leading car, the Wallace car, the Pip Hammond car, the Huxley car. The Joe Taylor car has of course now stopped. We'll drop down the timer screens. Lewis.
Yeah, I've got Dad Cheatham here. Ernie, that looked like a well-planned and executed stop, Ernie.
Yeah, we've really worked at it, you know, because he's had 2 chances of winning the championship overall. Unfortunately, at Open Park he got took out after 15 minutes running, and the second one we made a bit of a hash of the pit stop. Took us 10.5 minutes. By the time that, I think they'd all gone home by the time we got going. So that put pay to that. So we really had to get everybody together and do a few checks. So now it's really down to, you know, in the lap of the gods now, I would say.
Okay, Ernie, keep your fingers crossed for you and Steve.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, guys, back to you in the comms box.
Just over 40 minutes of the race left to go now, and it is looking good for Steve Cheatham, and Lewis reporting there. It looked like a pretty smooth stop that time, which has, as we're hearing, been a bit of a problem in the past for Steve. So we'll see how everything slots through after everyone has made their stops. Of course, there's no window at all here, so the stops can be made theoretically at any point in the 2-hour race.
Sergikowski on through again. That's 31 laps down.
Yeah.
Matthew Wallace is currently second, but he's virtually a minute behind. He was about to be overtaken by the former leader's car, now in the hands of Rob Baker of Area Motorsport.
Lewis.
Yeah, looks as though we've got the Sharp brothers in there with their Porsche 968 doing a stop. They've put the fuel in, and then they're doing a driver change. Andrew getting out and Charlie getting in. Back to you.
Thank you very much indeed. So that's the car that is running in. Looking up the grid, yeah, 17th at the moment, of course, but with that car later than others making it stop, then that's a
BMW that's out of the race. It's been towed from out of my view back into sight. It's the 316, the Taylor Yates Alive Motorsport car.
Yeah, so that's Andy Waters, who was due to take over from, well, he did take over from Michael Mayers, but not for very long by the looks of it.
Yeah, that was out of my sight, but it's now been recovered and it's being towed on a strap back to the paddock.
Yeah, so looking at it, there's a few cars that have fallen by the wayside already in this race. So we've lost the Guerrier Tamplin MX-5 and the Ferguson Andrew MX-5, the Bailey Schlevitz Golf, the Winchester Lotus, the Racing Cook TVR, the Dayburn and Trigg Ginetta, the Mercer BMW, the Tomlinson and McGregor Mazda, and now the Mares and Waters BMW. So I think 9 cars out of 40 that started it. Well, I think out of just more than 40, 42 possibly that started it, now out of the race. If I just look at the next page on my timing screen, I can tell you if there was a couple more that we've lost as well, but alas, I can't locate that at the moment.
Tim Gray's BMW sounds beautiful as it goes through, under full acceleration.
As into pits comes another of the, well, actually it's the TVR that had been back out again, the Dean Cook and Andy Race TVR, the 89 machine back in. There's on screen there is the race leading car, Luke Sedgwickowski, gone deep, an hour and 18 minutes into this race. So you'd think shortly he will hand over to David Whitmore, but the lead driver and the championship sponsor indeed, leaving nothing to chance here, and trying to do as much of the work as he can himself.
But they are well matched, did you say?
They are. I think they're pretty even, and they, because of course the fastest lap that went to Swift and Baker, didn't it? So they're not picking up the fastest lap point here. So just feeding that into my famous spreadsheet. So they'll pick up 15 points. Taylor, as things stand, well, if he gets back up to where he was before the stop, he'll get 12. And that would leave Taylor winning by a single point. But if Taylor can only get third, and I don't need to tell you that will mean he'll be behind by a single point. So really, Taylor needs to get second here, assuming Sedgwickowski and Whitmore can win this, which I don't think is a foregone conclusion, because of course we've got to watch for Rob Baker now, because they made their stop early, and I think also saying they've not really lost anything by stopping early for that puncture. So they should still be good for this, for a win here possibly.
Another of the Seats has just come through on a really odd line through the loop. It's not one that gives him maximum potential to take extra speed onto the straight. Wallace has pitted from second place now in the white and orange Seat. That's going to potentially move Pip Hammond up, but he hasn't stopped yet, has he?
Yeah, again, in that box, going very deep into this race. Gavin Johnson here to take the second stint.
We're intrigued to know how close Joe Taylor is to Rob Baker.
He's 21 seconds behind him at the moment.
It's a long way, isn't it?
Yeah, he is. Both of them having made their stops. So the really intriguing thing is what happens when Whitmore takes over from Sedgwickowski, where they feed into all of this.
Yes.
Just looking at the Class B situation, obviously Steve Cheetham has made his stop, but Pip Hammond hasn't, and neither has Luke Handley. But everyone else neither has Steve Dolman. But Steve Cheetham therefore should get ahead of those Class B cars once they make their stops and go back into the Class B lead. So I think this is Pip Hammond just coming into the pits now as we're watching the 27 car. That's William Beach. Action going on. Action. There's some work going on in the pits, and that is on the Dengate and Lovett car, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, can I just update you on that?
Yeah.
Actually, I don't think so. I think that's just been ruled out. I think it's got a broken tie rod. Kevin, I think, is getting underneath there and having a look, but this right rear wheel's got an awful lot of camera on it. Kev, that's correct. Sorry. Yeah, that's a broken tie rod.
Yeah, broken rear tyre rod and front strut, so that's us out, unfortunately.
I think the old girl's done you proud. You need better maintenance on it.
Yeah, no, we had a lot better result, obviously, in the road sports, and we was going well up until that point. But yeah, with the time we've got, I don't think we're going to make enough difference to get him back out. So.
Okay, Chris. Anyway, tough luck. Yeah, early shower for them. Ooh, just behind me, and then to see that sneak up is I'll just mind my way past there, is the 119 Johnson Hammond car. Back to you.
I think Mystic Marcus predicted the demise of the Dengate and Lovett car, didn't you, earlier on?
Yeah, I think so.
It had that great win in the road sports race, but it was about 40 minutes too much, and lo and behold, 40 minutes before the end of this race, it breaks down.
Exactly. I said just enough time to break it in the earlier one, but they did very well to win that.
They did indeed. So at least they've got a trophy to take home.
They had one more life for the old girl in the race, and it wasn't quite going to last.
No, she's done sterling service this weekend. the Red Rascal car. There is William Beach then. He's taken over that car from Adam Morgan now, as we were hearing from Adam a little while ago. And he's got with him the Ginetta as well, the number 40 car, now being driven by Luca Hurst. And after the pit stops, I can tell you that it is Lightstead and Khan that lead in Class C. So number 79, Andrew Lightstead and Imran Khan now leading Class C. Second now in Class C is the number 68 car of Darren Kell and James Kell. They made a relatively early stop with the quicker driver. James is now aboard. He's 45 seconds behind the Lightstead Khan BMW.
With 36 minutes to go.
Yeah, and then third within Class C is the Highland and Hurst Ginetta, which is the one that we've just seen on screen a moment ago. And there's the 16 Gardner and Huxley Seat going through as well. So we're now in a situation whereby Lightstead and Khan, they have made their stop. It's Imran Khan on board now. He's leading his class, and Steve Cheatham therefore need to get back into the lead of Class B after all the stops have shaken out for him to win the championship.
Mark, oh, sorry.
Lewis, go on.
Yeah, sorry, Ian. Yeah, look, so we've got Mark Jones and Robert Taylor swapping over. That's why I came up with Mark. That just swapping over in the 48 TCR Seat Leon. I tell you, I do like these TCR cars, and it looks as though Robert, who started it, has just handed over. Mark's in the driving seat and just pulled away. Back to you.
Yeah, we've had 41 cars start this race, because on screen now you can see it was the Ben Salmon and Matt Maxted car that was the first of those ruled out. So I think we've had 10 retirements so far from this race, possibly make that 11, because the Tomlinson McGregor car's out on screen, so that's out on track at the moment, the Mazda. But I think the Ashmore and Taylor Honda's possibly out of it now. Lewis again?
Yeah, I'm not too sure about the 72 car, the Andrew Winchester car, the Lotus Elise S2. It's picked up a lot of kitty litter, and the guys are trying valiantly to remove it. So not sure about whether we'll see that one again.
No. I'd already counted that as being ruled out, but obviously they're trying to get it back in again. The Mazda looks like it's going to go into the pits this time, by the way. The RX-8 with the big wing on the back looks like it's going to head into retirement, with 35 minutes of this race left to go then. Still no sign of the race-leading car stopping. Luke Sergikowski's hand over to David Whitmore. Luke Sergikowski still out there.
Yeah. David presumably would quite like a go. Oh, what a big spin down. I think that was... Where was it?
Yeah, just on the exit of Beckett's, isn't it?
Exit of Beckett's, isn't it? Out of my sight, just before Chapel Curve.
It's the
136.
136, yeah, which is the Jonathan Evans Tom Barlow Class B Boxster. He's had that moment. The Cayman, I beg your pardon. It's a Porsche, certainly.
He was visiting the Porsche Centre, I think.
Yeah, not far away, Lewis.
Yeah, we're down here with Pip Hammond, who just jumped out of the Porsche. I think you were leading the class at the time.
Wonderful. I don't know. Steve got out of my sight, so I don't know if he'd pitted or not. But
yeah, he had.
Okay, well, we really, honestly, don't have the pace to match Steve, and we haven't really done all year. But it's really nice to be up there in podium contention, and it's really good for our championship for coming second.
Well, yeah. So obviously, Steve thinks he's got a bit more pace.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a few more years of development in that car, and Steve's a hell of a driver as well. So we've taken this car on mid-season, and it's gotten a bit better every time. Obviously, Gavin's out there now, going to do the final stint. But yeah, this event so far has really gone to plan for us, and we've got our friends from RS here with the truck, and Ian from Abac, and who's another one of our partners who actually jumped on and helped us with the fuel stop there. So you can't have any better the partners than that.
Oh, that's great news, and hopefully, going to see you back next year.
Fingers crossed. We don't know yet. Is the honest truth of it. There's a few different ideas in the pipeline, but the Boxster's been good to us so far. So if everyone's still smiling at the end, then it might get another chance next year.
Okay, Pip. Thank you very much, and best of luck for the rest of the race.
Thank you. Cheers. Thank you.
Okay, and 52 has just made it into the pit lane. That's the Steve Dolman Porsche Mazda MX-5.
Yeah, and that's one of the other Class B cars that was ahead of Steve Cheatham, but now won't be, having made its stop. So Cheatham now only has Luke Handley ahead of him. Luke Handley, who's going solo, has yet to make his stop. He's still continuing on. He's just gone past my window. So Luke Handley now the Class B leader, and he's the driver that could actually stop Gavin Johnson and Pip Hammond from taking second in the Class B championship, just depending on how the results go between those two.
We were talking about Tim Gray being bound for a top 6 finish. He's up into 7th at the moment, and but he's quite some way behind the Owen Fitzgerald, number 8 BMW.
Yeah, but there are 1, 2, 3 cars ahead of it that haven't made their stops.
Yeah,
yet.
that's right.
Yeah.
So he will finish in a net top 6.
Yeah, it looks that way. So we have just over half an hour left to go in this race, and still waiting for our race leader to pit. Still about 20 seconds between Carl Swift in 3rd and Joe Taylor in 4th. They'll move up to 2nd and 3rd certainly, because
yeah, the Huxley 16 is currently shown as 2nd, isn't it?
Yeah, that's again gone deep into this race.
Yes.
Yeah, no sign of a pit stop having been made by those cars yet.
Taylor certainly can't match the Swift and Baker Seat.
No, I mean their lap times aren't dissimilar, are they? The two of them are only a couple of tenths apart.
They just got separated really at the stops.
Yeah, and 20 seconds when you're lapping and similar lap times is tough to make up now. Just going past me now is the Steve Cheetham car, and he is still 2nd in Class B, and he should go into the lead once Luke Handley pits. So it's going to be pretty close, I think, for the overall championship as things stand. It looks like both of the 2 championship protagonists are going to win within their classes. So into the last half an hour or so, you can see one of the Seats heading towards us, one of the BMWs behind it, but it's difficult to see. That's the Wallace car and the Ball car. So that is for position, isn't it? 8th and 9th, those 2. And Ball just getting ahead, I think, as we watch Luke Sedgwickowski navigate.
Surely the leader is going to come in this lap and give his teammate best part of half an hour.
Lewis is down in the pit lane with news.
Yeah, just to confirm that we are expecting him in at any second now.
Okay, well, he's heading down the Wellington Straight, so he's not too far away. David Whitmore will have been itching to get out into the car. We just need to make sure they have a nice, clean pit stop here.
Yeah, they've got a big enough cushion, so it's not really a massive problem to take a couple of seconds more and just do a belt and braces job.
Yeah, into the pits
Here he comes.
they come. Yeah, so finally in after 90 minutes and change. So Sedgwickowski's taken 3/4 of this race here, and Whitmore will just drive the last one. It'll be about 26 minutes by the time he gets out there. So that is the car that stands possibly take the lead. Then that's the Rob Baker car. Into the pits then has come the TEGIWA backed leading car, the M4.
Brakes are fairly warm.
That's
in fact, on fire.
Yes, they are. That's the very definition of warm, I think. Someone should be standing by with an extinguisher there, I think, because...
hey, come off it, chaps. They're nowhere near as warm as Dan Camish's was at Brands.
No.
I mean, these are just lightly browning. They're not red, are they?
No, but might get your toast done on them, possibly. Right, anyway, fuel is going in on that car as well, and another car is heading into the pit lane as well, which I think is the car from 2nd place, the Huxley and Gardner machine. Yes, it is.
Yeah,
the 16 machine going in.
Yes, that is a lap down though, isn't it? Because it's Swift now 2nd, Taylor now 3rd.
Yes.
They're a lap down, and then the Huxley car, which is pitting, you say.
Yeah, so that's about to go into the pit lane and make it stop. But all of that work being done on the 33 car. They have a wheel alongside, ready to go on, Lewis?
Yeah, absolutely. I was about to say the same thing. Looks like they're changing the front left-hand tyre. And, oh dear, someone just showed it. I'm not quite sure how many seconds that is, but the tyre obviously being exchanged. I just hope Dave Whitmore is going to be just cautious there, because the rest of the tyres will be warm and that one will be cold. But anyway, we'll grab a hold of Luke in a few moments. Back to you.
Thank you very much. Yes. So the one we've yet to see then is Luke Handley. I think he's the only driver in the whole field now who's yet to make his stop, so I hope he remembers.
I think that car's just come past me fairly recently, the last sort of 15 seconds or so.
Okay, so I'll look out for that in a moment to see if he's about to come in. So he's running in 6th place at the moment. That's a false 6th place because he needs to make his stop. No, who's that? Oh, that's the 331 car, isn't it? That's had a moment somewhere, which is
that's the Salisbury
E92.
There goes the Rob Baker Seat, halfway now down the Wellington Straight. Where's the BMW in the pits? It's still in the pits.
Yes, it is.
It's not going to come out a long way ahead, is it?
No.
Because
I was just going to say, car 210's got a 5-second penalty. Lewis?
Yeah, I was about to just sort of go 1, 2, 3. That looks as though, like you say, the 33 car is about to go.
Look for Baker, Ian.
And I can see we've only got a few seconds to go.
Baker's going past me now. It's going to be touch and go.
It's go from here.
And it's going to be very tight as they get through Copse Corner, so I don't know if we can get the shot coming out of Copson towards Maggots. And we'll have a look at that to see who arrives in the view of Marcus Pye first. Is it going to be the Seat or is it going to be the BMW?
It's got to be the Seat, hasn't it? Because the Seat's now down here on the tail of the orange Porsche Boxster, the 76 car, and has gone through. We have a new race leader by the looks of things.
Yeah, well, I thought that might happen because they have been making sort of steady progress.
We haven't had the Beamer yet. Here is the Beamer.
So it's a bigger gap than I thought it might be.
It's a much bigger gap than we thought it would be. And right behind the Beamer, like 15, 20 yards, is Joe Taylor, who flings the Exige through the flick-flack down here at Beckett's and comes out onto the Hanger Straight right behind him.
Yeah, of course, up to speed, up to temperature is the Joe Taylor Lotus.
With
down
mismatched front tyres, the BMW, so it's not going to handle terribly well initially.
Interestingly to see how it goes through Stowe Corner then. The BMW pulling away a bit down the Hanger Straight, but into Stowe, the right-hander they go. Remember, these two battling over the Class A Championship title. And as things stand, I think this would be good enough for Joe Taylor. But only just. I'll check the maths on that in a minute. Lewis.
Thanks very much. Yeah, I'm down here with Luke. Luke, you had a good run in the 33?
Yeah, it was going well. Obviously couldn't keep onto the back of the TCR car at the start of the race. He pulled away, but I was managed to keep Joe behind me. It was a bit of a weird feeling, really, because I know what we've got to do to win the championship. So, sat there in 2nd place with Joe behind in 3rd. I know that doesn't get the championship. So, yeah, it's kind of... We're hoping that, well, not hoping, but things need to happen to other people for us to win, so...
Yeah, Carl had a problem. He had a rear puncher.
Yeah, OK, that's why he pitted, was it?
Yeah.
OK. Well, yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter, though. He would have been within his fuel stop window, so he would have pitted and fueled and driver changed and carried on, so I guess they're still in the lead now after our pit stop.
Well, not too sure, I can't remember. But anyway, and, you know, the pit stop couldn't have gone any better. You changed the wheel and the valve started to leak, so that was luck.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I had a bit of contact after the safety car behind the back marker, and obviously it bent the valve, and I didn't actually have any problems during the race. But then when the guys came in and tried to let some pressure out for Dave, the valve started leaking, so luckily we had a spare tyre and we could swap it over.
No, that was the reason for the exchange. Anyway, well, sometimes you just need that a bit of luck. Anyway, hope all goes well in the next 30 minutes, Luke.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Cheers now, back to you, boys.
So those two cars then, the two championship battling cars for Class A, heading into Copse Corner once again. It is still David Whitmore ahead of Joe Taylor, but they were separated, Marcus, by only 0.6 of a second as they crossed the line.
Exactly. It was interesting because Whitmore was much slower into Luffield, then he booted it. And coming out, he had a 3 or 4 car length lead, but then Taylor was quicker as they got going and pulled it back in. So there's just a matter of about 3 or 4 lengths between them as they go back onto the Hanger Straight. And Joe Taylor wants to try to get into the slipstream of the BMW. Wherever the BMW rides down the straight, he wants to be behind. The BMW's got that much more grunt. Extends it to sort of maybe 40, 50 yards, and there's 152's in trouble. Where is that?
That's the Elise S2 of Cole Cavers and Ian Humphries. Trying to work out exactly where that is. We just need the camera to pull out a little
close to the edge of the track, that's for sure.
It is. And is that at your end? No, it's not. I don't think. I think it is.
Is it round Stowe? It's round Stowe.
Yeah.
I think it's just around the exit of Stowe somewhere.
Possibly.
Or down towards Club.
Yeah.
Oh no, is that me in there?
That's you.
That's
Hello.
me.
Give us a wave.
It's out of my sight.
it's down at your part of the circuit, even if it's out of your view. Anyway, so we've got 22 minutes of the race left to go. 17 seconds now the lead for Swift and Bakemore to the point now over Sedgwickowski and Whitmore, who's now at the wheel, and Joe Taylor in third place.
I now see where it is. It's on the exit of Aintree, way out on the outside. I couldn't see where the camera was stationed, and it's in a safe place. In actual fact, it just from the foreshortened angle looked closer to the track than it is. It's a long way from the side of the track.
Okay.
So
well, that's good news as far as the rest of this race is concerned.
It is
still very close for second and third overall, second and third in Class A. As things stand, this would give Joe Taylor the championship by 2 points from Sedgwickowski and Whitmore. Fastest lap of the race, of course, has gone to Swift and Baker. So as things stand, they're on for 16 points, and they the way it would finish after this would be Taylor 68, Baker and Swift 67, and Sedgwickowski and Whitmore only 66. So the top three in the Class A championship, if it finishes like it is now, will be separated by only 2 points. That's quite something.
But there's 21 minutes to go.
Yeah, there is. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm getting excited. Talking 21 minutes to go, Luke Handley has only got 21 minutes in which to make his pit stop. The number 51 car. He's in 5th place.
Whitmore's run really wide going out of Beckett's, and that would have lost him a little bit of time. There's 2 cars battling ahead of them down the Hangar Straight towards Stowe. They're going to pick them up either on the exit of Stowe or down into Vale. The Lotus should be able to take a little bit more speed through the corner. Side by side, the 2 ahead of them. There's the green Mazda and the orange car alongside it, which is a Porsche. And Whitmore comes up the inside. That's brave. And Taylor comes as well.
And it's Michael Downey's Porsche box that's in between them.
And Taylor's been balked.
He has, hasn't he? He's lost a bit of time there as a result of that, which is a great shame. Battling for second and third on the road. I'd say this would give Taylor the championship narrowly. Luke Handley finally into the pits. Now, I think he was only about half a lap ahead of Steve Cheetham, so Steve Cheetham should emerge from this pit stop with a lead of about a lap, I would think, certainly over Luke Handley, who'll drop back down the order, but he's about a minute ahead of the second place car in Class B that's also made it stops. That's the Barlow car, as it now is, with Gavin Johnson third in Class B at the moment.
Yes, which was the car that Downey was battling with? Was that the 27?
It was the Kell car. That was. It was the 68.
That was the 68.
James Kell Class C car. That's the car that's second in Class C at the moment, behind Lightstone and Khan.
Yeah, but it's a lap behind, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's not come through to complete its next lap.
Yes, that's where it sits.
Behind.
Oh, now again, another dive for Joe Taylor on the BMW, and that was down at Luffield. And he's very, very good at getting into Luffield, but he hasn't got the grunt on the exit. But he's certainly harassing Whitmore for all he's worth.
Down into Copse Corner they go then, with less than 20 minutes to go. We're into sort of sprint race territory now, aren't we?
Yeah, it's so much easier to chase than be chased in this situation.
0.4 of a second between them at the moment as they head down towards...
And the best laps are probably very similar.
There they go. Yeah, best laps 2:21.4 for Whitmore and Sedgwickowski, 2:21.3 for Joe Taylor.
A tenth between their best laps, yeah. And Joe Taylor uses the agility of the Lotus. He comes up alongside, he tries to, then ducks in behind. Now, he couldn't be any closer. He could throw a bungee strap out now and hook it onto the back bumper of the BMW, which is now weaving from side to side down the straight. Is not weaving from side to side to actually prevent Taylor from making a move, because Taylor's not quite close enough, but he's just trying to drag him off the slipstream. Taylor comes out of the corner, is alongside, and again hasn't quite got the grunt.
Fascinating battle, isn't it, between
it's
two
a wonderful battle.
Cars, and really good racing between Whitmore and Taylor, who gets a better exit out of Club Corner that time.
You don't want to be inside on that second apex, otherwise you'll be squeezed onto the grass.
He just uses a bit of the curb there. We probably couldn't have done that yesterday.
He lost 50 metres there on the last lap, and it's taken no time at all to close it right down.
No, absolutely. So he's right with Whitmore. Just, I'll update you on the Class B situation in a moment as well, as to whether it is now Steve Cheetham ahead in Class B. I suspect it probably is going to be. But look at them, almost side by side down into the loop, into your part of the circuit again, Marcus.
Yep. And it's very, very close. He looks up the inside, does Joe Taylor.
But he's going to be outpaced again down the straights, isn't he? And similar tactics here from Whitmore down the Wellington Straight to what we saw on the Hanger Straight, down towards Brooklands.
But he is closer because you physically can't see the Lotus at some points. He's so close to the back of the BMW. It's Luffield where he's so good because he dives out wide, then he cuts back. But if he can try and keep it a little bit wider and a bit more momentum coming out, he can get closer, gets his nose up alongside the rear wheel. He's going to get swatted if he's not careful.
Lap 41 completed then. There's a penalty going out to car 67, I think that is. That's the sharp push. Doesn't really affect things too much. I will just wait. It's still showing Luke Handley in the lead of Class B. We need Steve Cheetham to come through again, though, which he's about to do, to complete his 40th lap. And I think when he does, I'll see him flick over into the lead of Class B on my timing screen. There's that battle still going on though, Marcus.
It's a wonderful chase, isn't it? And here he goes. See, the Lotus will come diving up the right-hand side, and he's got another car ahead of him. Again, you sit right under the wing of the BMW.
Just confirmation, Steve Cheetham has gone back into the lead of Class B, so as things stand, he'll be the overall champion, but there's still 15 minutes or so to go.
Now this time the BMW's got the run down the straight, and Joe Taylor's been balked again, but it's the driver minding his own business. He's no need to get out of the way particularly, just not impede if he can at all help it.
So there's Taylor on screen now, chasing after Sajikowski, after Whitmore. It looks like Steve Cheetham is going to win Class B. Has he got fastest lap as well within that class? No, he's not, so he'll pick up 15 points. Lightstead and Kahn, within Class C, they are leading. And are they going to pick up fastest lap within Class C? No, they're not, so they'll pick up 15 as well. Looks like it's going to be 12 points for the Kells. So, yeah, as things done, looks like it's going to be Cheetham that will win the overall championship by a couple of points, and Taylor that will win Class A by a single point.
Yep, there's still, what, 14 minutes to go, 14 and a half minutes to go. They're coming upon one of the Mazdas down the Wellington Straight.
Yeah, still the fight for second place overall going through. It's the 66 Mazda, the Steve Summers, Neil Livesey, Graham McMurky.
Yeah, Taylor's having to be very, very careful. He doesn't want to throw this one. I think he probably knows exactly where he stands in all this.
Yeah, and the natural instinct, I guess, is to race the car ahead of you, but in reality, he would be perfectly well served by staying exactly where he is, because he is quite a long way clear of the fourth place car.
And who has fastest lap in that class?
The fastest lap is with Carl Swift and Rob Baker.
Yeah.
And it's that point, actually, that takes them ahead of Sajikowski and Whitmore to second in the championship as well. So unless that changes towards the end and can beat that 220.49...
Probably won't if they're battling like this.
No, I would have thought so. And they're lapping in the 222s now, so they're a couple of seconds away from that. Cheetham crosses the line again.
Joe Taylor is absolutely behind. What are his lap times like behind the BMW?
High 222s for both of these at the moment, compared to mid 221s, low 221s, which are their best laps. So second and a half off their best, which in the circumstances is not shabby.
He's losing about 2 car lengths only down the Hanger Straight when he starts absolutely under the wing. And he can brake a little bit later than the BMW, not that he really wants to throw himself off.
No, not at all.
This is where he's so good, middle apex speed.
In some ways, you know, he'd be almost well advised just to give the BMW 100 yards and
yes,
from a championship point of view.
Yes, but he wants to race it.
Of course he does.
Because what he really wants to do is dive ahead under braking for somewhere like Village.
Yeah, try and get through and did it on track as well as...
Oh, he's up the inside. He's up the inside, and he's made it through at Village, just as predicted. That was the one. Telepathy.
Mystic Marker strikes again. You're on sparkling.
Twice in one day, Lord.
So that is Taylor up into second place then. So if I just feed that into my spreadsheet, that will mean that he would win the championship by a full 3 points if it stays this way. No guarantee it will, because Whitmore's coming back at him now into Brooklands corner and is pretty close to the back of him, but not close enough. Now this is where historically in this race Taylor's been pretty good. Look at that, look, he gains quite a bit of ground through Luffield, and as they come out of Luffield now and towards Woodcote corner, Taylor will try and get a few yards between them. There's probably half a second or so.
Where he'll make the speed, if he can get sufficient, if he's still ahead when he gets through Maggots, he'll make 2 or 3 lengths through the twisty bits here.
Yeah.
Again, Whitmore looked up the inside, didn't he, into Copse. That was quite brave.
See what happens as they arrive through Beckett.
Here's the Lotus. It's got all the agility it needs. And yes, he brakes a little bit later. He's got about 7 or 8 car lengths. He dabs the brakes before he turns left. The BMW dabs the brakes as well. And as they come out, the Lotus has a lead of 7, 8, 9 lengths, something like that. And the BMW runs really wide coming out of the corner, and that's lost him any chance of any kind of tow. But even the grunt of the BMW is not going to make a difference into Stowe, I suspect.
No, it doesn't look like it.
He's halved the distance again. He's got it down to about 3, 4 lengths.
He has. Meanwhile, it's still Carl Swift and Rob Baker actually 20 seconds up the road in the lead of the race overall. Quickly in Class B, Steve Cheetham, number 43, leading 1:36 now, which is, I think, Tom Barlow at the wheel of that car now.
Joe Taylor very, very quick through Club. He's excellent in the middle bit between the 2 apexes, and that's going to make him some valuable time as they go up towards Abbey on this, the 44th lap.
Third, by the way, in Class B, Gavin Johnson. Class C being led by Imran Khan. He's about a minute or so clear of James Kell, with Luca Hurst in the Ginetta third as things stand, with 10 minutes of the race to go.
Yeah. There's 33, the TEGIWA BMW. It's got lots of grunt, but it doesn't quite have the agility of the Lotus. The result is very, very even lap times as they go on to the Wellington Straight for the 44th time. There's about 10 lengths between them. It won't be when they get to Brooklands, though, yeah?
No, as we see, the 67 Porsche, that's coming into the pits. That's to serve a penalty. That's the car of the Sharp brothers. But that's a Tchaikovsky and Whitmore car. It won the first 2 rounds of the championship, don't forget. But then...
When did Porsche, whatever it is, get those dive planes on the front corners? There's nothing that left the factory, strangely.
No, it's not at all, is it?
They'd have done it had they thought it was necessary.
I'm sure. But yeah, Tchaikovsky Whitmore won the first 2 rounds of the championship, but then had a non-finish at Spa, and they've also had a non-finish at Alton during the course of the season. That's what set their championship season back. 9 minutes to go now.
Here come the protagonists for second place. We've almost forgotten that Sayat that's out front. But there's 2 cars ahead of Joe Taylor going through Beckett's.
I've just spotted the fastest lap of the race has actually now gone to Rory Hind and Owen Fitzgerald, a 2:19.79 that they have managed. So
this is what Taylor wants. He wants to put those 2 cars between him and the BMW going into Stowe. He's got them, but where's the BM in all this?
Yeah, he's not passed.
He's got past one of them.
Yeah, and he's got Gavin Johnson's car to pass as well. The Boxster next up, the ex-Porsche 924 champion.
Yes, he'll get it, but
it's just delayed him a little bit again.
It has. Yeah. Hops over the curb as well. That probably just didn't help. Oh, there's a car off at, that looks like it's Club, one of the Porsches. Which one's that?
Oh, it's hard to see, isn't it?
It's a dark-coloured...
Is it? It's not Steve Cheetham, is it?
It's a dark-coloured car.
It is. Looking at my timing screen to see if I can open that door, we might see which car it is, but sadly, it's impossible to see the number on that car from here. If it is Steve Cheetham, it's obviously very significant for the championship. So we'll see if we can get any confirmation of that. There's
not going to see
Tejikowski making his way
Whitmore.
through.
Yeah.
Whitmore. Tejikowski was in that car for so long.
Yes, it's always like birthright, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. The leading car has just gone through with just over 7 minutes to go, so they'll probably get 3 more laps out of this race. So I think 3 laps to go at the end of the one that they are on. Or the end of the one they're just starting, I should say, in the case of the race, even after this for Taylor et al. In fact, Taylor just goes over the line now, and his lead over Whitmore is now 1.8 seconds, so it has gone out a little bit. There's Steve Cheetham on screen now, so that's good news for him.
I thought it was a car that looked like it was pretty much one colour all over.
Yeah.
Whereas Cheetham is very definitely multi-hued.
Yeah. So Steve Cheetham's still out there, which is good news for him. So he's still looking good for the championship. And Luke Cantley, who was leading Class B for a while because of a late pit stop, he's just passing me now. He's 13th overall. But Cheetham here, the 2005 Porsche 924 champion, started racing back in 1997, but had a break for a good few years, coming back into it.
Oh, I've seen plenty of this. Number 72 is now being towed back past me. One of the Lotus Exiges. That's Andrew Winchester's again.
Yes.
It was on a truck last time I saw it. This time it's on a tow rope. Lots of trouble, usually serious.
Loyalty points being picked up. I don't know if Lewis was trying to come in there as well, but Lewis, if you've got anything to say, please do. As we work into the last 6 minutes of this race. And it's, as I say, it's looking like it's going to be Joe Taylor's Class A championship, but Steve Cheetham winning Class B, and Imran Khan and Andrew Lightstead Class C, with Cheetham getting the overall honours. The 210 BMW, the dark Dalgarno car, which has a penalty anyway, is going rather slowly now as well, so that's dropping back down the order.
It's Jonathan Evans' car, I suspect. Is it 136? That's just taken a dump down the order.
Yeah, that would make sense.
That's the car that stopped over at Club, I think it was.
Tom Barlow board that car at the moment, we think. But yeah, that's a sensible call. Lewis, are you down there?
Yes, chaps. Car 67 got a 5-minute penalty.
That's a long penalty.
Yes, it is. It exceeds a 3-minute for a red light yesterday.
Yeah, that was a James Winstanley honour, wasn't it, for his team?
Yeah, I was challenged by the lads here to find out what it was, but I have found out, and we will put it very easily a refuelling infringement, and we'll leave it there.
Okay. So there we go. That's. That penalty has been
somebody had a big lock-up at
Spoke. Yeah, Cops. That
just
is
a massive lock-up. Yeah.
Yeah. And
and Joe Taylor's gone round the outside of somebody, going down into the middle element of Beckett's. He wanted to put someone between himself and the BMW. It was a brave move. It worked. Just.
Yeah, as we pick up one of the other white Lotuses at the moment. There is the race leading car though, Carl Swift, who's been in the Rob Baker, who's been in the car since about 50 minutes into this race, so he's had a good hour and 5 minutes already in the car.
They do bellow round rather nicely, don't they?
They do. And
good looking thing.
Pretty robust as well, apart from that puncture that they had in the first part of the race, but that's not to do with the car. So they're going to win for the 3rd time in a row at the end of the season by the looks of it. Alton Park, Snetterton and Silverstone.
I am still intrigued as to why it was blowing something out shortly after the pit stop. Maybe it just was overfueled.
Possibly so, something like that. And soon sorted itself out. So they are going to have, I think, just one more lap at the end of this one, I reckon, because we've only got 3 minutes left to go and it's heading back towards me for a final time. So it's Rob Baker leading, Joe Taylor 2nd, David Whitmore 3rd, Owen Fitzgerald 4th, Tim Gray up to 5th, and that's as good as he'll get because he's 48 seconds behind Owen Fitzgerald. Darren Ball 6th, Simon Wallace 7th, Steve Cheetham 8th, Paul Huxley 9th, Aid Woodland 10th, and Gavin Johnson in 11th place. Class C, it's still Imran Khan leading by about a minute, so they're doing their bit, they're winning Class C. But it's going to be Steve Cheetham who wins Class B today, and that will be enough for him to wrap up the championship, unless something strange happens in the last 2.5 minutes.
It's an endurance race, so anything can.
We have seen stranger things happen. Taylor just comes past me now in the commentary box with a healthy advantage now over Whitmore of, what's that, 2.25 seconds. There's the leading car though on screen, just heading through the sequence of curves at Beckett's.
So nicely balanced, isn't it?
Yeah.
Looks terrific.
It really does. Absolutely on rails through there. When it's lapping in, well, its last lap was its best lap of the race, a 2:20.34. So still pushing on Rob Baker, but it looks as if it looks as if it's no effort at all, really.
What was the time that the Hinder Fitzgerald number 8 was given?
2:19.79.
2:19, so it's through 2:20.
Yeah. So that's been the best lap.
It's been a great recovery, hasn't it?
It has, after that early misfortune, to come back to 4th.
And they just came in and were tightening the wheel nuts, right?
Yeah, and 38 seconds behind the winning team, or maybe 40 seconds behind the winning team. So if it wasn't for that, and I know it was under the safety car, you wonder what might have been in terms of the overall result.
The old Keke Rosberg question.
Yeah. So a minute to go. There is Swift, Rob Baker, I should say, pushing on.
They're going to get one more lap out of this.
No, I don't think so. I think this will be the last lap. Down towards you again for the final time, I think.
Yeah. So here it comes then, the Area Motorsport Seat. Burbles through.
There's the 55 car.
That's the other one. Yes, on the screen
now.
It's at the other end of the Wellington Straight. Our race leader. Yeah. And here comes Joe Taylor. He's going to go past the black Seat in a moment. Being pursued still by David Whitmore.
But I can see now the winning car is heading through Luffield Corner towards Woodcut for the final time.
12 seconds.
12 seconds to go. Are we going to get the flag this time or not? It's going to be touch and go. It is, it's the last lap board. So by 2 seconds, I think because they've gone so quickly on the last couple of laps, they have managed to eke an extra lap out of this. So that, if something happens on an extra lap for anybody now, they won't be thanking Rob Baker.
I thought very, very early on that with that, before the safety car situation we had very early on, I thought we could just get 50 laps out of this. But it's not going to be. It's going to be 49.
Yeah, it might have just about been 50 had we not had that safety car, which did go around quite slowly, didn't it, for a while, to get everyone back in the right order. So Swift and Baker, then Baker at the wheel at the minute. Oh, and there's one off in the, well, not in the gravel. Where is that? It is the 52 car. That's the Dolman and Sherd car. It was started by Steve Dolman, so it's Paul Sherd off at Abbey. He's pulled off by our Abbey commentary point there, which we're not using today.
What's the difference between Darren and James Kell and the Ben Highland and partner Ginetta time-wise?
12 seconds.
Okay.
But the Ginetta has been lapping faster.
But it's going to run out of time.
Yeah, well, on the last lap it was 6 seconds a lap faster, actually. So possibly the Kell Mazda has a problem. There's Steve Cheetham. Now he's got another lap and a bit to go then, because he's just heading up towards Brooklands, and he'll see the last lap.
Is that
board.
at fairly reduced pace, just sort of throttled back?
Cheetham?
He doesn't look to be sort of attacking it.
No, he's not particularly. He probably was thinking. He probably was thinking that this was the last lap, and he was getting ready to take the checkered flag. He'll be disappointed, therefore, to see the last lap board.
Yeah, race leader now up in the loop. Here it comes.
I do think that Steve Cheetham was genuinely shocked to see the last lap board that time, because he sort of had throttled right back, and then he saw it, and then you could hear him get the throttle down again.
What was his lap time?
Cheetham, it was a 2:33. His best lap was a 2:26.
Okay.
He's got a good advantage over the next Class B car, so that's not a problem, but There we go. Steve Cheetham has got another 3.5 miles to do. Right, we'll do this again then, because here comes the number 6 car of Rob Baker through Luffield for the final time then, and it's going to be 3 wins in the last 3 rounds of the TEGIWA Club Enduro Championship out of Woodcote Corner, up to the line, checkered flag is waved, and that will be good enough for second place in the Class A Championship for Carl Swift and Rob Baker, unless anything strange happens with the 2 cars following them. They are heading through Luffield Corner now, though. I can see that
Darren Ball. Is that?
Yes, Darren Ball has stopped there, but here comes Joe Taylor out of Woodcote Corner now. He's coming up to the line to take the Class A Championship. No, he's not quite yet, because in fact he has gone through, hasn't he? 10 seconds behind in the end. Whitmore took 3rd place for BMW, so they have gone through, and Owen Fitzgerald in 4th position. It's Darren Ball, who was a key protagonist. He'd stopped out on circuit, hadn't he, right at the end of the race, so he went to thank Rob Baker for that extra lap of running that he's had to do. And we wait for our other class champions to go through. There go our Class C champions. They've just gone over the line now, but they're not going to win the overall championship, because the man on your screen now is going to. That's the number 43 Porsche Boxster of Steve Cheetham then. And Steve, who's had, he's had a very good year indeed. He's had 4 class wins, 6 class podiums within Class B, the intermediate class in this championship. He's had 5 overall top 10 finishes as well. We thought he was going to wrap it up at Alton Park. He didn't. We thought he was going to wrap it up at Snetterton. He didn't. He's made us all wait. He's left it to the very final round of the championship here on the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit, but he's turning his way through Luffield Corner now, the double apex right-hander for the final time. And this time, Steve, don't worry, you will see the checkered flag out of Woodcote Corner. He comes up to the line, he goes, and Steve Cheetham is your TEGIWA Club Enduro champion for 2019. He wins Class B, he wins overall, he amasses 89 points after dropped scores and finishes 2 points clear of Andrew Lightstead and Imran Khan, who finish on 87 points. And then I think 3rd in the championship should be the Darren Kell and James Kell effort from Class C with 73 points. 4th and winning Class A will be Joe Taylor on 70 points. 5th and winning Class, 2nd in Class A will be Sedgwickowski and Whitmore on 64, and Baker will be 6th, and 3rd in Class A, 2nd in Class A, and 5th overall, 66, Baker and Swift.
The Ginettas snatched 2nd place in the class behind Lightstead and Khan on the last lap.
It did, indeed, by 0.2 of a second.
And Matthew Wallace and Simon Wallace move up into 6th place because Darren Ball was off at the side of the circuit, probably out of fuel, I should think.
That means that the Kells only got 71 points, but that's still just enough to take 3rd overall in the championship by my reckoning. So quick rundown on the results then. The win going to number 6, Carl Swift and Rob Baker. 2nd to number 77, Joe Taylor in the Lotus. 3rd to 33, Luke Sedgwickowski and David Whitmore in the BMW. 4th to number 8, Rory Hines and Owen Fitzgerald, another BMW. 5th to number 88, Mark Betts and Tim Gray, another BMW. 6th to 55, Matthew Wallace and Simon Wallace in the Seat. 7th it will be, because Darren Ball didn't finish, we'll go to number 43, Steve Cheetham in the Porsche. 8th to number 16, Paul Huxley and John Carter in the Seat. 9th number 82, Aid Wotton. And 10th will be 719, Pip Hammonds and Gavin Johnson. Class C victory will go the way of Andrew Lightstead and Imran Khan in 17th place overall, from Ben Hylands and Luke Hurst in the Ginetta, and Darren Kell and James Kell in the Mazda, pipped on the very final lap of the race.
And overall, the championship then will be Cheetham be 1st.
Yeah, Cheetham 1st with 89, Lightstead and Khan 87, and then the Kells 3rd on 71 points by my reckoning at the end of the season. 71.
Yeah.
And then Taylor winning with 70 points from Baker and Swift on 66 in Class A. There we can see in the pit lane the winning team, the Area Motorsport Seats of Carl Swift and Rob Baker. So let's head down to Lewis Beals.
Thank you very much, Ian. Yes, and an exciting end to the TEGIWA Club Enduro Championship. Rob Baker just climbs out of the car. Carl Swift going round and shaking the hands of the 77 car, the driver, Joe Taylor. So nice touch there. Joe securing the title. Let's have a look. Carl, here we go. punch withstanding, still managed to get it home first.
Yes, so luckily nobody got a safety car pit stop, so we didn't lose any time on that. Great, thanks. So yeah, that 10-15 second lead that we got, we managed to maintain that, and Rob's done an awesome job bringing it home. We just had to wait and see what everyone else has done. So we're second in the championship from like 5th or 6th after Spa, so we've come back loads. It's had 3 in a row. See what next year brings.
Yeah, let's have a... Come on, Rob, let's... Rob's over there. And, yeah, let's have a quick word with Rob. Rob, you had a good run there, didn't you?
Yeah, it was a good car, had a puncture on his stint, so a bit of an unscheduled pit stop. Team did great to get 3 tyres changed, put new fronts on, fuel and everything within the time, so we didn't lose too much time on track. And then, yeah, from there, all we could do today was win. We had, you know, 4 bad results at the start of the season, 5 even, and we won the last 3 races. Brought us up to 2nd in the championship, I believe, and couldn't really do much more than that.
Congratulations on your victory.
Thank you, cheers.
So there we go, that's from the victory. Let's have a word with who's next. Let's have a quick look. I was going to try and have a word with the Steve Cheetham, probably. No.
Class A champion.
Oh, Class A champion. We're going to go with Joe Taylor. Come on, Joe, let's have a chat. Oh, yeah. Smooth the hair out, buddy. You're looking good. You look good for the camera. You must be absolutely delighted.
Absolutely delighted. I'm absolutely spent out. I need a drink.
Anyone got a drink for this guy?
That race was just flat out. Literally, by the 3rd lap, I think I beat my testing time with a full tank of fuel. And then after that, Chris got on the radio, said, "Stay in the 21s and you're all right." Never been in the 21s before, and I just absolutely just went for it. And I don't know what to say.
Well, I don't know. You had a great battle with the BMW.
Oh, that was. I mean, it was the whole race, the entire race. I was fighting with the BMW. Even they come out of the pits and they come out right in front of me, exact same place. I thought, oh no, here we go again. Because it's so hard to get past them because of the power deficit on the straights. And yeah, I got him just into the really tight section on the last part of the circuit. Held him up a bit. There's a few back markers, and that was it. I just didn't look back and just put my foot down.
Hey, congratulations, well done, mate.
Thanks very much.
Go and find yourself a drink. You earned it. There we go. So it's Joe Taylor, the Class A. Who we got next? Yeah, 43. Steve, isn't it?
No, 79.
Oh, yeah, 79. No, so Class A winners. It's Andrew, isn't it? Andrew. Go.
Yeah. Imran this time. You've done me twice already.
Yeah. Okay, so good. And Imran, Andrew, he gave you a car in the right place, didn't he?
Yeah, definitely. He did a really good stint, and I think we were 2nd before the pit stop. And then we came out first. I'm not sure how.
Well, yeah, because the Ginetta G40 took a long time to refuel, so he dropped back a bit.
Okay, that'll be it then.
That answers your question.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it just kind of sums up enduro racing. You need to be consistent across the 2 hours. Not necessarily the absolute fastest car that wins, but I was trying my hardest at the end to get the fastest lap. Andrew was informing me I was 2 tenths away and then a 10th away, but I didn't quite do it, so that's a bit frustrating, but we got the win, so got to be chuffed with that.
Yeah, and congratulations. Well done, Andrew.
Yeah, brilliant, thank you very much. Yeah, cheers. We did everything we could today, and I think we've come 2nd overall with a 3-point gap to Steve, who obviously took the Class B victory as well. By my maths anyway, that is.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's about it. Could be back again next year?
To be confirmed, to be honest, yeah. Sorry, yeah. Used up a lot of racing credits this year.
So a word with our new champion, the 43 car, Steve Cheetham. What can I say? Many congratulations.
Yeah, still quite hasn't sunk in yet, but no, I'm just glad I kept pushing really, because obviously they got the win, so I had to get the win. So yeah, I kept pushing and got there.
You look tired, mate.
Yeah, with about 15 minutes to go, I got a horrible cramp up my side and it was awful, but back right off for the last few laps and just brought it home.
Have you done a 2-hour stint before?
Yeah, we've done a 3-hour stint before, yeah.
3 hours?
Yeah, I've done the season on my own, and yeah, you do feel it at the end, but yeah, you get a lot out of it.
Well, many congratulations, and well, you couldn't have done much more today. Good win and clinched the championship. Plenty of beers tonight.
Yeah, we'll be having a few drinks, I think, tonight. Yeah, definitely.
And you and the Lodge Sport team, I think you deserved it. Well done.
Thank you.
So that's the 1, 2, 3, and the champion in the Club Enduros. We now go back to the second race of the day for the Demon Twigs Yokohama Classic Stock Hatches and the Royal Pearl Hot Hatch Championship.